Public holiday footy at the MCG on the Queen's birthday. Melbourne and Collingwood about to do battle on AFL Nation. Josh Jenkins with the votes from Big Freeze 8 shortly. But before we delve into it, including the match preview, let's get an odds update thanks to Sportsbet.
It's time for an odds update thanks to Sportsbet. Sportsbet's bet with mates. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
The big Queen's birthday match there at the MCG. Neil Danaher doing an incredible job. Fightmnd.org.au. Beanie on, play on, donate now. But let's get into the odds. Melbourne, they started at $1.25. They pushed out to $1.38. Collingwood, though, they started at $4 and they've moved right into $2.98. Obviously, Stephen May, a huge out there for Melbourne. So Collingwood could get the go there. The line currently sitting at 16.5 points in the way of Melbourne, and the total points over 161.5 at the moment. That rain seems to have cleared, though, and that line has pulled down a little bit, so they might be able to go on the overs there. Now, the Neil Danaher Trophy as well for some big odds there. Clayton Oliver, he's paying $5.50. Petrarca, $6.50. And Max Gawn, well, he was best on last week, $7 for him. If you're having to look at Collingwood, $10 for Jack Chris, Jordan De Goey paying $13, and Nick Dacos, he is a little bit outside there, $26, but he was brilliant last week with 36 disposals. And don't forget, fightmnd.org.au, Beanie on, play on, donate now if you can, and let's tackle this beast. Good luck. Please, though, gamble responsibly.
All thanks to Sportsbet. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. The Demons are out on the MCG after a somewhat tumultuous week. Josh Jenkins, before we delve into the match preview, give us the votes.
Yes, I'll whiz through these, the much anticipated slide votes. Apologies to Ma, Barty, Neitz, Betts, Blake, Anthony and Langer. Didn't quite make the cut. One vote, Beck Madden, purely because I like the costume, but was the only slider to commit to the toboggan. Didn't let it go until she struck the water. So one vote to Beck Madden. Two votes, Rhonda Birchmore, a personal favourite of mine. I loved not necessarily the slide, but it was the theatre that she brought to the day, and that's pretty much what it's all about. Three votes, though. Wasn't sure whether it was actually Terry Danaher or the great Mick Dundee under there. It was a tough call between Rhonda, Beck and TD for the three votes. But when he said he applied a little bit of fake tan, I thought, well, if you're going to go to that level of detail, you deserve the three votes. So three votes to the great Terry Danaher.
Very good. Three to Terry Danaher, two to Rhonda Birchmore, one to Beck Madden. Text freeze to 0400 662 662 and make a donation well through 1.6 million. The hope is to get to 2 million by half-time, as Neil Danaher presented again out on the MCG. Jared Waitley, Dwayne Russell, Josh Jenkins with you for this match. We're into the garage for our match preview thanks to Autobarn. Autobarn has all your top automotive gear at low prices. The Magpies right now are 9th on the table with a chance to reclaim a place inside the 8. Melbourne are on top. They'll stay there either way. They'll either be tied up with Brisbane or they'll re-establish the moat of a one-game buffer. Josh, how are you thinking about this afternoon?
Oh, it's intriguing. Melbourne they haven't had a thing go wrong for 18 months, the best part of. And now, all of a sudden, two guys who won't actually be out there on the field have provided these 22 or this 23, including the medi-sub, they've got to go out and do the action. So the talking's been done. The issues have hopefully, from a Melbourne point of view, been resolved. But we won't know. And we'll be looking and we'll be searching for reasons and things and little fractures and drop-offs in play. But the D's boys will be out to atone for two, not poor losses, but two surprise losses to two good teams. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the D's dish up, particularly early. Max Gawn will be keen to lead the way. And then Collingwood have almost been forgotten about. They shouldn't be, because they're 7-5. They've played some really, really good footy over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and they get their opportunity as a young, emerging side to take on the very best.
What would Collingwood have noted from the past 2 losses of Melbourne, which you point out have been in different modes?
I think the way Sydney went about it would be most like what Collingwood would like to produce or think they could produce. I don't think Collingwood are built, Dwayne, necessarily to suffocate Melbourne, and that's what Fremantle did. I think Collingwood have got the ability out of the back half to kick through Melbourne's team defence. That's the way they can beat the D's.
And Collingwood's confidence should be rising throughout the course of this year. I mean, at the start of this year, they probably didn't know how good they could be. A lot of the players didn't know how good they could be. But there's a few players now starting to realise, okay, you got Nick Dacos, who's up to the standard, might be the NAB Rising Star winner. Ollie Henry looks like he's up to the standard, and he was a bit iffy a few weeks ago with his goal kicking, but he looks like he's up to the standard and has a huge upside. There's a lot of these players that I think are now showing that they're pretty good at what they do, and their own confidence will grow. So why wouldn't you back yourself in to take on Melbourne and try and continue your rapid progress? And the conditions are perfect for what they do, and that's kick the ball well, and you know, those kicks back on the inside, the short 45s, the in-between kicks that offset really good team defences, and that's what Melbourne are. You know, Jake Lever doesn't want the in-between kick, the one that goes 20 and then the one that can get over his head, because he wants to be able to be in line with the ball and read the footy as it's coming toward him. So Collingwood, you know, they're built to take it to Melbourne. They've got the skills and they've got the body and the personnel to do so. It's just whether they can get their game style happening early in this game. And May is a huge loss, and the wobbly week is going to have an interesting Has to. Yeah, you're spot on. And the beauty is Collingwood, they're as unwobbly as they've been for 3-4 years. So bring it on. And a good Collingwood crowd as well. So they're going to make some noise today, Collingwood fans. They've turned out in force.
They're stretched back to the back rows in various parts of the stands, both in the members and over on the Shane Warne stand side of the ground. You've got a few matchups for Illuminate Garden Lighting in a league of their own.
There's one that really hits home for me. I love the way he eventually fronted up and spoke about what it's like to go through a bit of an up and down or a topsy-turvy week, and that's Max Gawn. Darcy Cameron's emerging as a number one ruck option in the absence of Brodie Grundy. He's getting good support from Mason Cox, who at this stage of his career looks more like a ruckman than a forward. But the combination of Cameron and Cox versus the man who I think, I've left Luke Jackson out. I think this is a game where Max Gawn would go to Simon Goodwin and say, I don't need a lot of help from young Luke today. Just let me be the best man on the ground. He's been that across the past couple of weeks, but I think Max will be primed in the wake of what's happened to really turn one on today.
Illuminate Garden Lighting. The warm-ups are happening before us for Ream. Ask your plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong. What about Melbourne up front? So Ben Brown, who's stone cold, and Mitch Brown, who's he's a classic journeyman. He's a bit of a breaking case of emergency player. That's not a forward setup that's going to strike fear into the heart of key defenders.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not a forward line that would keep you up at night. With all due respect, Ben Brown, excellent player, has kicked a lot of goals over a long period of time. Bailey Fritsch stood up in a grand final when they needed him the most. They've got guys capable, but it's not a star-studded forward line. It's not a forward line full of household names, which is why I go back to Gawn and Petrarca and Oliver creating even more opportunities, rather than saying, look, our forward lines, we just need our forwards to play better. Create more opportunities, create better opportunities, give them even more looks at it so that they can capitalise and be effective as a forward 6 or 7.
The dynamic in the middle. So what do they do about Oliver?
Well, what can you do about Oliver?
Chris looks like such a nice matchup for Oliver.
I'd just be wary about taking too much of Chris' punch and drive away. He's been excellent since, for most of the year, going that he and Pendlebury seem to swap that half back to midfield role. They kind of call it together, and Crisp has been so damaging, averaging over 26 disposals a game, but he can pump the ball inside 50, and he does so almost 6 times per game. So he's a good physical matchup for Clayton Oliver, but I'd be wary about taking away or potentially taking his focus off the ball and his focus away from being that driving force for Collingwood through the middle, because they aren't blessed with a lot of that type of player through that part of the ground, which is why he's gone in there in the first place.
So Pendlebury's under the ruckman at the moment, taking under Mason Cox here, taking a few of the knockdowns in the centre. Do they start Pendlebury in the middle?
I think, yeah, probably. I think it's this again, like Max Gawn. This is a game where Pendlebury probably goes to the coach and says, "Let me have a big impact in the game," because you can't overstate how important it is to get the game on your terms early. Whoever can get the game on their terms the first 15 or so minutes, particularly when you've got contrasting game styles. It becomes so crucial and so important as to how the game pans out.
I think on Anzac Day it was Lipinski who went to Parish in the second half when Craig McRae decided he wanted a cool, or if not quite a tagger, and he was part of that centre square work as well.
I think 2022 has become a year where some of these new young coaches are prepared to change in game as well. Say, okay, well, that's not working. I'll try this. That's not working, which is pretty old school. In the 70s and 80s, that happened all the time. I think we had a period where coaches just stuck to game plan A, and if game plan A didn't work, game plan B was to do game plan A better. I don't think that was necessarily the way to go at all times. I like the fact that, Richmond push Gibcus forward. There's a whole heap of other things you can do these days, which I think a few coaches are starting to take on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to have the openness to try it, but I guess primarily you've got to have the personnel capable, and we see Gibcus go forward. He's an athletic type, but what I like about Collingwood's lineup is they've got a large group of guys who can play half-back, wing, a little bit of inside mid, a little bit of high half forward, run up and back. They've got 10 or 11 or 12 guys. You talk about Lipinski and De Goey and Quaynor and Noble. Elliott comes back into the side, who will be important. His ability to kick goals in bunches is important because he can change momentum. He's a type of player that can jump up and kick 2 or 3 in 10 minutes and really change the course of the game for his side. So good to see him back, and they need that goal scoring power.
We have a look at the Kubota cast for Kubota. Together we are shaping and building Australia. It's 13 degrees at the MCG. There's a little bit of cloud about, but largely blue skies. The lights are on. It'll get chillier from here. Kubota shaping and building Australia. And when you talk about unmissable moments for Drinkwise, choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. Jack Ginnivan's season has been unmissable so far. He loves a big crowd like few others. He has had another week of scrutiny. His coach said publicly that the one thing he would reference was that he had a conversation. How do you want to be regarded as a player in the long term? So that's an active conversation internally, and it's an active fascination for the football world.
I found it Craig McRae, it was interesting. I'm not going to tell you what we said, but what he didn't say almost spoke more about anything than what he could have told us. So yeah, Ginnivan is a fascination. You're right, Jared. We love to love those types until they sort of step out of line, and then we love to get on their back. But he's a young player who will be important because he can kick goals, and Collingwood need goals from different avenues. They don't have traditional big, tall, hulking forwards who can stand up and kick 4 or 5. They need goals from those small to medium, so he'll play an important part.
The ground report for Pope, the better way to water. It's in great neck, and as you just look down, every head below us in the members appears to have the blue beanie, the big freeze beanie. So there would be, there's 80,000 here. And if there's not, it's just shy of it. And the vast majority that you look down, the bays below us have all got the beanies on. Pope's Drip Ease makes drip irrigation a breeze. The final words from Josh Jenkins, Shawl Unify, your national uniform and workwear experts. What's it going to be?
So the Ds, what can they get back to, or what aspects of the game can they get back to? They only generated 5 total points from intercept possessions against the Swans. Their worst or equal worst since any game they've played since 2010. They've been a pretty bad side for most of that time. That was a very, very poor performance. Not only that, they were out-tackled by 22. Those numbers will have been up on the board around Melbourne this week. Simon Goodwin will be aware, and he will have made his players aware, and his senior players, Max Gawn, Petrarca, Oliver, they'll be made aware that, look, we've got to get this corrected quickly, otherwise it can start to slip away. It hasn't slipped away yet, but it can slip away. A loss on Queen's birthday to the Pies, making it 3 straight, then it's starting to slip away. So the Ds, they will be absolutely red hot to start this game. I can't wait.
Collingwood will be starting forward as well, so that's a little bit of change up, not in the middle, not the half back.
Collingwood have won 4 of their past 5 against Melbourne. Our experts are dressed thanks to Ringers Western. Ringers Western clothing looks great in the city and toughs it out on the land. That's all for Autobahn, Top Gear. Low prices. The countdown to the opening siren. The MCG is a magnificent sight. Collingwood and Melbourne on the Queen's birthday Monday. Big freeze at the G. On AFL Nation, you're with Dwayne Russell.
Opening bounce for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety. Queen's birthday Monday. MCG. AFL Nation. Big crowd. Big consequence. Collingwood win. They're in the 8. Melbourne win. They're a game clear on top again. Oliver, quick fire handball to Petrarca, and the usual suspects get the clearance, although it only travelled about 8 metres. Picked up by Pickett. Feeds it back in the Oliver direction. He mishandled it. Gathered by Dacos. Gave it to Crisp. He in turn to Cameron. He in turn to Pendlebury. So he did start. He wanted it back to half back. Gave it back to Crisp. He heads goal square. Front on contact. Meyer check. No free. A behind. So opening seconds, and it's lively early already. This opening quarter for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Here's Gerard Whateley.
That was a lovely move from the Pies. Hibbert long on the way out. He wants Gawn punched away from him. Takes a magpie turn underfoot. Hand passed around from Crisp to Nick Dacos and now to Maynard, who had a little bit of trouble finding the right way. He found Ginnivan, though, when he fired. He waited just long enough. And the long-sleeved, peroxided Jack Ginnivan takes the mark at 50. He'll start a couple of steps in from the boundary. He has kicked 21 goals in his 10 games. Jack Ginnivan, never more comfortable than when the eyes of the football world are on him. From 50 metres out, he launches at goal. It's right to the line. Tap back in for Elliott. Hand passed over the top, hoping for somebody. High contact on Hoskin Elliott. No, just hard contact. And the ball is buried in underneath. Players are moving around. The ball is not. There's a holding the ball call against Hoskin Elliott, who was adjudged to have dragged it in. And Spargo is going to rise with it.
He's not getting up in a hurry, Hoskin Elliott. Maybe he's hurt, and maybe he's just trying to delay Spargo getting the ball. And it's a bit of both. I think he's okay. Spargo gets the ball eventually. Back pocket, heads out wide. Up they fly. Moore got there with a fist, knocked it away from most of them. Oliver on the ground. Got a free kick for being held, but he didn't have it. So Oliver at half-back for Melbourne. So Pendlebury kind of half-forward, but drifting back to be that extra at half-back once play's underway as Moore floats in and takes a ripper half-back. He was almost running with the flight, but he had a couple of Melbourne players under it, like sitting ducks, including Neil Bullen. So he started well, and he spears it down the spine, hoping for Mason Cox, who got up and took a ripper. Play on, hands it to Crisp. He wants through to help. Gave it up just in time. Adams squeezes it towards full forward. It rolls past a couple, and it's out of play, and we'll get a ball in forward pocket for Collingwood, who've done all the attacking in the opening couple of minutes. So only a couple of minutes old this game on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock. And still no goal to either side. Collingwood have a behind.
The Pies attacking the city end of the MCG. To the right as we look at it. Cox stands his ground in front. Almost ended up with a footy. It fell clear at the last. He's still in and after it. He's being denied. The new lad Turner gets hold of it. Hand passes to Gawn, who kicks out at defence. Pickett rode things beautifully. He takes off and has a bounce. Poked it up over the top. He wants Petty to run onto it. He'll give it back to Pickett, the superior runner. Another bounce. Cuts back inside. Ducks under Maynard. Then ran into the next tackle. Got out of it. Oh, he got monstered by Maynard, who didn't like being made a fool of. And there was relish in the second tackle. He pummeled Pickett and he wins holding the ball. Maynard quickly out of half-back once the scuffle cleared. Hand pass to Nick Dacos. Cox has got to fly against a couple. He made the contest. Melbourne have numbers, though, at the back. Viney to Brayshaw. Just stepped around Ginnivan. Hand passes to Oliver and then gets it back. Brayshaw from the boundary. Long down the line. Howe was always favoured by it. And he takes the intercept mark.
Josh Jenkins just on that Maynard tackle shortly, but a spearing pass inside, cut off by Neil Bullen. Has that set a standard for Collingwood, that tackle? Short pass to half forward. Spargus is knocked away by Quaynor. Ball falls to Pendlebury. He's ridden a little in the tackle. Could have been ball, could have been in the back. Umpire put the whistle away. Little floater. Oliver stands under it, takes a chest mark. He's 80 from goal, played for the 50, didn't get it. And he backpedals. He's got Brown leading from the goal square. He ignores that. He heads out wide, so Mason Cox can't get there to shut this off. And Jordan's caught, gang tackled. He had his chances. So if you drop it, if you have it and you drop it and then you pick it back up again, it's not really prior opportunity, is it? Even though you've had plenty of opportunity.
So, yeah, there's plenty of tackle pressure in this game, and the crowd are absolutely into this. This is going to be a beauty.
One behind the only score the Magpies' way thus far. De Goey pulls it clear from half back, lands it down the wing, spoils are made. Bowie's there for Melbourne, hand pass to Salem, works it around to Turner. He'll give some ground to Petty as they look to set up from the back edge of the centre square, the D's. He unloads toward the 50. Ben Brown set himself, a few flew against him, and Crisp stayed down and did the roving. Hand passes to Murphy, kicks the Magpies out to half-back where Ginnivan takes a neat mark in front of Salem, but there's a free kick in the pack and it's going to Salem. Ginnivan didn't throw it back to him cleanly. He's extremely lucky not to have given away a 50. Salem's ball. If you're of the view that he got a raw end of the stick from the umps last week, he just got a very good call, Ginnivan. Salem in short to Viney. Gives ground to Hibbard. Melbourne might look to switch. They go through centre field. Turner has it. And now out the far side for Petty. Lever wanted the ball up at half forward. It's more central, the kick to Oliver, who turned to play on and has been called to do so. Onto the right boot in a hurry as a result. Ben Brown's the target again. He flies, got hands to it, fritches the Rover, slipped over as he went to change direction. Got back up and dropped the footy in the Quaynor tackle. Holding the ball.
It's hot. It is really hot. On Big Freeze Day, Quaynor, back pocket. And almost got his kick touched as it wobbles away toward the Pendlebury direction. Picked up by Petrarca off hands. Kick smothered by Hoskin Elliott, and a brilliant smother. Underrated skill that, to be able to smother and keep it in your area. Pendlebury, chip kick to Crisp. Got the handball up, back to Pedals. About to get caught. He lipped the handball straight to Oliver. Melbourne about to go inside 50. Oliver heads in the Brown direction. One grab, not the second. Flicked away by Murphy. Petrarca got the crumb. Gave it to Brown. Wobbles one across the face. It's Melbourne. Brown couldn't quite get away with it. It was Darcy Moore, but he didn't really have prior. And we'll get a ball up. Forward pocket for the Demons, and still we're goalless after 7 minutes played opening term on the Makita or the outdoors Makita clock.
Ben Brown to do the ruck work against Cameron. Cameron took it out of the ruck. Kick was smothered by Viney, who went in and got it. Lost the footy in the skirmish. Josh Dacos to De Goey, who ran out of room. Throw it in.
I'm going to get one look at this footy. You don't get a chance to fumble today. Players who are fumbling are getting crunched. Clayton Oliver absolutely on fire. He's running hot for Ream. Steady, hot and strong. 8 disposals already.
45 out from the Melbourne goal. Tap came the way of Maynard. He clears the initial area. Awkward ball that Hoskin Elliott dealt with well. Hand pass to side bottom. Works it on to Adams. Kicks the Pies to half forward. Well-weighted ball for Myercheck. They want it in deep. Myercheck is inclined to do it. Cox couldn't hang on to the mark on the fly. Gawn hacked it off the turf to clear the defensive 50, and he's done it to good effect. Jordan leads the chase to it. He fumbled that ball well out toward the boundary under duress from Josh Dacos. Throw it in right half forward for the Pies. It's a behind and nothing in their favour on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Just to describe that kick from Adams and the importance of it, the Melbourne defenders are getting in line with where Adams is going to kick the footy. Kicking it off the line made them really vulnerable there. Unlucky they didn't score, the Pies.
To go, he flicks it out to Hoskin Elliott. He rolls it inside 50. The chaos ball. Myercheck put his head down to get it. No free. Umpire let it roll. Comes up towards Bowie. Hamble missed the target. Went to side bottom. Goes through a couple. Gave it to Hoskin Elliott. Gave it to Ginnivan. And he missed it. Hit the post from 30. He's getting it a bit, but that was a huge opportunity to get this crowd up and about. Not that they're not. 2 behinds so far, Collingwood. Melbourne yet to score. 9 minutes gone on the Makita or the outdoors clock opening quarter.
Kick in came to Brayshaw, who uses Bowie against the boundary at the defensive 50. He probes down the line. Neil Bullen right on the paint as he tucked it into his chest. And he takes off, winds it up for Gawn. Cameron made the spoil. Pies are well represented underneath. Nick Dacos brings it away. Kicks right into centre field. Adams had to go. He was pushed by Salem. Adams went one-handed, but he got the contact from behind. He doesn't dwell over the kick. He delivers it to Crisp. He has a look deep. He wrong foots Pickett. He lets fly. Cox is his man. Oh, almost. He couldn't quite hang on. He had a big piece of it. Lever tackled, lost the footy. Brayshaw tumbles it away. Collingwood are well set. Maynard well tackled though by Ben Brown to put it back into dispute. Oliver, Ben Brown and Jordan all combine, and Oliver again, and Ben Brown's the kicker. He's off to the side and he used it well for Salem.
Yeah, best kicker in the Melbourne side, arguably. Salem's got it at half-back now. Mason Cox has had a couple of huge opportunities. And a couple of them he just had to grab, really. Oliver feeds it inside to Max Gawn. So De Goey came at him. He gave it away. Brayshaw had to give it back to Max. He's in the middle of the ground. He floats it wide and he finds Langdon, who's hanging out on that wing, keeping his width as always. He was always going to be there as an outlet on that Shane Warne stand wing, which is packed. He runs and runs wide. Heads long. Luke Jackson, his target. He's got 3 to beat. Can't beat them all. Ball came to Fritsch. He did beat them. Back to Jackson. Back to Fritsch. Opens up the angle and slots it. Opening goal of the afternoon to Melbourne. Well worked, D's. And Bailey Fritsch, the sharpshooter, gives them 1 straight 6 to Collingwood, 2 behinds. 10 minutes gone. Opening term. Makita or the outdoors clock, and that score for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety. Here's Josh Jenkins on AFL Nation.
Well, you've got to take your opportunities. Collingwood have created 3 or 4 really, really nice opportunities. Mason Cox, if you're not going to mark both, you've got to mark one. He's had 2 very, very good opportunities to take a big mark inside forward 50 and leave an early print on this game, particularly the first one of which he got in behind Max Gawn. He had a really good look at it, just couldn't quite glove it. And the second one was even easier. They've had opportunities. Ginnivan's goal, he kicks that 9 out of 10. You leave those opportunities on the table. Melbourne goes straight down and kick a nice goal. Bailey Fritsch feels good about himself. He gave that a little bit more too in the celebration, so you know it means a bit.
Josh Jenkins for Shaw, uniform experts. Cameron cleanly down to De Goey. Hand pass to Crisp. Collingwood come forward. Elliott's the target. It's wide out. It bounces a couple of times and eludes him. Out of play, 50 from goal.
Wayne, you wondered whether, I think it might have been Evan you, Jared, wondering what the Pies might do with Clayton Oliver. Well, that plan needs to start to come to action because he's got 11.
Wow.
Boundary throw and landed short of the ruckman. Hoskin Elliott tried to spin his way through, got dragged off it. Elliott to Pendlebury, lost the handle on the footy. Jackson released Neil Bull and Salem went over. Oliver chalk him down for another one, and it's a good one to Jackson, to Neil Bull and Melbourne on the full flow through the middle of the ground. Fritsch kept it low down, too low, and turned it straight over. Josh Dacos didn't hesitate over the counter-attack. He launched out the southern side. Cameron to Hoskin Elliott inside 50. Mychek. He doesn't drop them.
So Oliver's had 12 in 12 minutes. Does that mean he's on track for 130?
Yeah, he is. He's frighteningly good at the moment. The only problem with the man probably best equipped to stop him, Jack Crisp, has been Collingwood's most lively attacking player through the midfield. He's had 7 as well, so I'm not sure you want to ask him to quell his offensive prowess just yet.
Brody Mychek, he'll be wide out to the left, almost under the big freeze slide. You wouldn't want him any further out than this. Mychek will give himself momentum. Wheels out, launches from 52, gave it all he's got. It won't score. It's going to land near the teeth of goal. It landed at the back, in fact, and Bowie, clever kick into the pocket. Spargo, hand past Viney, wriggled under a tackle, but lost the footy in the process. Elliott did well. De Goey ended up with it from Crisp. He hooks it around the corner. Too much. Far too much. In fact, he missed entirely. It's out of bounds on the full. Melbourne by 4 for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Even De Goey's kicked those in the past. So Cameron gets there. Moore got there. Big fist of Moore wins out, knocks it straight to the front. And he gets it back off an errant kick. And straight into the hands of Josh Dacos. Heads long. Mychek got there. Did he hold it? The umpire circling says no. I thought it landed in his lap when he was on the deck. And he's asking the question now. How long do you have to hold it for? I brought the ground and then gave it back to you.
Tucked it to his backside. I think he's very unlucky there. Just having a look at the car sales, everything you want to know replay.
Ooh, umpire was on the spot. Did it touch the deck? It did. Ball falls toward. Oh, it's a big pack around it. We'll get another ball up here.
Probably a good call from the umpire in the end. Mychek, you've got to admire Mychek. He just plays the game as hard as he possibly can from start to finish.
And he has to do the ruck work here. And Petty ends up with it from the knockdown to Harms on a half-back flank to Spargo, still on the half-back flank with a 15-metre, maybe 14 or 16-metre pass, depends on who you barrack for, whether that was long enough. Spargo heads wide to the wing. Gawn's down there. Big fist of Moore wins out again. And he thumps it across the boundary on the wing. So the score, if you've just flicked onto AFL Nation, Melbourne 1 straight 6, Collingwood 2 behinds. That's on the Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety scoreboard. And the Makita clock says we've travelled 15 minutes, opening term.
Oliver's come to the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready at the stoppage. Josh Dacos got hold of it, hand pass to Pendlebury, kick inside 50. Myercheck was being wrestled by Petty. Umpire said that was okay, and Lever's the third man in to take the intercept mark.
Lever coming off young Ollie Henry there to try and come off the smaller player to be the intercepting defender.
Lever came long down the line. Petrarca dragged off it underneath, holding the ball against Taylor Adams with the winning tackle. They've been ferocious, Collingwood, on anything that's been on the ground. Sideways to Pendlebury. Pendlebury will kick up near half forward. Oh, he gave it too much. Murphy couldn't get there, and it's stolen by Jordan, who can go on a run around the members' wing. Had a bounce, kicked it for Harms, missed him. Howe arrives first, and they'll tackle across the boundary. 50 out from the Melbourne goal. Just Pendlebury, just every now and then when it's at its absolute hottest, he looks the veteran player he is, and as it slows down, you watch him take control of it.
He looks like the rest of us.
What under Jeremy Howe? As soon as that turnover happened, he left his man because he knew where the ball would probably go. Petrarca floats it inside 50, but it's been cut off by Nick Dacos, who just seems to find it, or maybe it finds him. And that was one of those occasions where it seemed to find him. He heads to Jeremy Howe, short pass to Noble. So across half-back they travel to Quaynor. A little fumble, but he's still got it at half-back. Held up by Pickett, and then he goes back to Nick Dacos. Short pass is good to Lipinski. Still virtually at half-back, though, just owning possession. Now he pulls a bullet pass nicely to Pendlebury, who's got it on the wing. And he chips it further forward to Adams. To Nick Dacos. He gets it again. Third possession in this string. Tried to hit Elliott in the pocket, but it was flicked away, and we'll get a ball in forward pocket for Collingwood.
They get nothing out of that other than a forward 50 stoppage, but that is the template for them. Craig McRae and the coaching staff will say that is how we can beat Melbourne, kick our way through them with our precise kicking skills.
Right forward pocket, Cox down to DeGoey, dragged without it. Umpire said no, play on. They try again. Lipinski to DeGoey, shirked the tackle, got the snap away and hit the posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chances the Magpies have had, all good ones. They have 3 behinds to show for it so far. They trail by 3 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
And we've hit 2 million as well for the big freeze MND, which is fantastic. Cox goes up, can't mark it, knocks it down to Dacos. He gave it to Quaynor, handball smothered by Petrarca. Nick ricochets toward Nick Dacos. He couldn't handle it, Harms can't handle it. Petrarca does, gave it to Jackson, hands it to Mitch Brown, flicks it back to Jackson. He hammers it forward. Collingwood with the numbers though. Howe read it to perfection again. As he so often does, he knows it's coming before the player that's got it actually puts it on the boot, because he knows the likely spot it's going to drop to. Heads wide to McCreary, and as he edged out by Bowie, and is it a mark? He juggled it across the boundary on the wing. So about to tick into time on opening term for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Collingwood yet to score a goal, 3 behinds. Melbourne 1 straight 6.
Gorner's tagged back in from the boundary. He's heading forward. Cox won the tap. Sparrow had the footy though. Released it to Petrarca, who gave it to Bowie. Sweeping hand pass to Jackson. It should open the play up, although he got himself into a spot of bother. Sparrow has to go against the tacklers. Jordan lends a hand and Jackson squeezes a kick in the Gawn direction. Harms folded back and he takes the mark. Melbourne have it 60 from goal. Ben Brown wants it in the square and Harms has a mind to do so. Ben Brown slipped, got back up, almost took the mark, has been paid the mark. That was quite an unusual moment. He was doubling back, Ben Brown. He had a few metres on Moore. He slipped over, regained his footing and then just chipped in front of Moore.
It's the exact situation that we've heard people critical of Darcy Moore. There's an opportunity to go and take some body there on Ben Brown. Ben Brown standing at the back looking to run and jump. That's the opportunity to be more physical.
Ben Brown will be close in when he completes his run-up. From 20 metres out, Ben Brown bangs it through. And Melbourne making the better of their opportunities. They lead by 9 points. 2 straight to 3 behinds on the Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts.
So 2 forwards for the D's who have had lean months. Fritsch and Brown get the first 2 of the game. So they're feeling good about themselves. And Collingwood, for as good as they should feel, probably look up the scoreboard and think, is that really the score? We've played the better footy the first 20 minutes of this first quarter, but we just have got very little. We've got 3 behinds to show for it. We should at least have a couple of goals on the board. And just back on that contest, Moore v Brown. Darcy Moore, he's a terrible player to play against as a forward because he likes to back himself and he likes to take intercept marks, but in those situations, you've got to go back, take Brown's body and be harder to play against.
So from the restart, Mason Cox in the middle. Gawn beats him in the ruck contest. Knocked it down to Oliver. Couldn't get an initial clearance though. Chris picks it up. Gawn tackled him. He feeds it out to side bottom. On the wing with Langdon. Good battle. Rolls it towards Quaynor. He's wrapped up, going nowhere. Didn't have Pryor. Ball finally comes to Langdon. He feeds it to Harms. About to put Melbourne inside 50 again, and he turns it over to Howe, who's in the right spot at the right time again. He holds it up back pocket for Collingwood. We just need that goal to settle. Heads out wide. Mason Cox stumbles his way into a one-handed attempt. Hoskin Elliott kicked it off the deck. Back with the flight. Elliott did well. Knocked it down to McCreery. No one's in the goal square. Had a bounce. Runs to 50. Runs to 40. And misses.
Keep wasting them. You can't keep wasting them because the opportunities will dry up.
They're down by 8 points.
Just got it.
And it's a litany of half a dozen missed chances. Hibbert on the restart into the back pocket for Brayshaw. He plays on and goes long in the Gawn direction. He's closing from a long way off. And Moore reaches in and made the spoil. 2 straight to 4 behinds on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. That's in Melbourne's favour. 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in this opening term. Cox to ruck against Gawn in front of the members. Cox took it out of the ruck, got it to his boot, takes reasonable territory, needs it to drop. It does, just in the field of play. It skips over the boundary for a throw-in.
Good in the ruck against Big Maxi has Mason Cox. Of course, he's got the size advantage. Not many ruckmen are taller than Max Gawn. He's looked good. He's looked very energetic and athletic in the ruck as well.
40 metres from the Collingwood goal. Cameron knocked it down to the front. Lipinski trying to gather. Does. Then it fell off his hand as he went to dispose. Lever got caught in the tackle of Elliott's. That's where it stops.
So Mason Cox lets Gawn go and take this in the back pocket for Melbourne while he forms part of the wall, and Cameron takes the ruck in the forward pocket for Collingwood.
30 out from Collingwood's goal. Nothing effective in the ruck contest. Oliver released it to Petrarca. He bangs it down the wing, and Ben Brown takes the mark.
It's caught kind of inside Ben Brown there. Mason Cox is part of that wall. Ben Brown gave it to Oliver, and short pass is good to Jordan. And 50. So Noble through the protected area, was it?
No, he didn't stand.
Oh, my goodness. So Jordan should kick this from about 35 metres out. And almost from directly out. And this will hurt. 3 straight to 4 behinds when Collingwood could theoretically be in front. But that's footy. Bad kicking's bad footy, as Tommy Hafey would tell you. And a hush falls over the MCG. Big Collingwood crowd in, big Melbourne crowd as well. But Collingwood home game. They could be inside the top 8 if they win this game this afternoon and knock Richmond out of the 8. And Jordan, a couple of skip steps, runs to 40, drives it long and slots it. Tyre Power scoreboard, Tyre Power your matchday favourites for tyre safety. 3 straight 18 Melbourne. Collingwood 4 behinds have played 24 minutes into this opening term, and our expert Josh Jenkins for Shaw Unify Uniform Experts.
Keen to get a look at that 50-metre penalty on the car sales, everything you ought to know replay, because we've seen just a few teams looking to step back off the mark, so not to get called for stand, and it's a little bit dangerous because if you do it too late, not on the same page with the umpire, you can get pinched. And I think that's what happened with Noble there.
It's too slow to go.
Yeah, so he
arrives,
decides to back out,
then backs
too
out.
late. So that is a dangerous ploy that some teams are implementing. So we don't want to get stuck standing like a statue. We want to be able to defend on the east-west, but Noble got caught out there.
It's right at the margins. He'll consider himself unlucky. Gone cleanly down to Petrarca, out the front to Neil Bullen, dragged down by Adams, stirring tackle. Ball spills the way of Nick Dacos at half-back. He guides the Pies through Cameron and up now to DeGoey. Adams wanted it in the middle. It would have been a high-risk kick. DeGoey thinks better of going out the worn wing. Hoskin Elliott is there for him. Melbourne have got a couple back, including Gawn. So the kick is a shallow one for the moment to Crisp. Just assesses what's ahead. He lobs it to a hole that Lipinski has filled. One step inside the 50. And it's almost the identical shot that Brody Myercheck had that he couldn't quite score from.
Bit much to expect Lipinski to go bang from here, Jared, but I kind of feel like someone needs to step up and just go bang and remove that glad wrap from the Collingwood goals.
Patrick Lipinski is going to wind it up. He rushes to 50. He gets under the kick. It's going to have to be marked near the square. Cameron flew. It's loose at the back. Turner keeps it away from Elliott. He did well, the debutants. In the back pocket to Jordan. High on the way out. Murphy backed himself from a long way off. Charged in and wins it right back for the Pies.
Yeah, he gives his heart and soul into every contest. You got to love the way he plays. And Murphy sends it back. Top the square. Henry gets up front of the pack. Can't mark it. Ginnivan crumbed it. Had to be high for mine. Had to be high.
Well, Dwayne.
You don't think it was high?
See this a little slower.
So Petrarca tackled him. He caught him high. The umpire pacing the free kick for high. But there is some dispute. Owen, he did throw an arm back. Yeah, that he should have gone lower, Petrarca, for mine.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? There's a little small element of the body height goes a little lower, but
yeah.
Petrarca needs to be better in the tackle as well.
So Ginnivan gets his moment here. He had a chance earlier on, hit the post. He gets a boo from the Melbourne faithful. Don't rattle that cage, Demon fans. Or they've rattled it to the point that he's kicked across the face and missed it.
Big Max just says something, I'm presuming it's not overly polite on the way past. He was standing the mark. 5 behinds, plays 3 straight. Good kicking is good footy. 18 plays 5. He's Gerard Waitley on AFL Nation. That's the score for Tyre Power.
Saylor marked the kick in and delivers it to Oliver. Oliver's got Petrarca down the line, but he's going to kick deeper than that. He's got Gawn and Jackson in the same pack. They rise. Moore disrupted it. Petrarca roves. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Shot it out the side. Sparrow, neat little side step back to Petrarca. Off to Pickett. Over his head with the hand pass. Didn't work. Crisp cuts it off to Adams. Kicked it out on the full under pressure. Melbourne win it back at left half forward with 30-odd seconds to go. Sparrow with the mark unmanned. Kicks to full forward. Jackson rises. Neil Bullen's the crummer. He'll snap it to the square. Well gathered up by Hoskin Elliott and seen through for a rush behind. Melbourne by 14.
It was dangerous letting that bounce too, because he had the trajectory that could have bounced over his head and bounced through for a goal, but they got away with it. So Quaynor, as the seconds tick down, 20 seconds left, kicks in from fullback, heads to Myercheck. He takes the mark at half back, but we're down to 13 seconds now. He goes toward the wing. Nice grab on the wing by Crisp. Can he get one forward quickly in a hurry here? He can't.
Boy.
He's turned it over. Now they need the siren to sound. Chance for Melbourne to cut it off and go forward. Siren sounds with the ball in dispute in the middle. And the opening term summed up pretty much by the Tyre Power scoreboard. Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety. Collingwood, a ton of chances, wasted them all. 5 behinds to quarter time. Melbourne made the most of their opportunities and lead 3-1-19. Great to have your company on AFL Nation.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Save on Kumo. Store-wide super sale now on.
Big delays on the Hume Freeway if you're inbound through Beveridge and Calcalo at the moment. Same story on the Melbourne Highway as well. It's struggling inbound through Yarra Glen. And we've got works in Langwarrin South on Golf Links Road. It's closed between Grandview Grove and Warrandyte Road. Use McClellan Drive or Robinsons Road. It's time for massive savings. Victoria's Basement. Stock take clearance up to 80% off cookware, kitchenware, glassware and dinnerware. Price madness clearance. Shop online at Victoria's Basement. That's the latest SEN Sky Traffic.
Don't have Foxtel? Get live sport, drama, movies and Netflix with Foxtel's very big deal. On sale now. Ends June 30. Search Foxtel or call 131 787.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
Want to get the best possible price for your car? Head to Gumtree Cars now for your free instant car valuation and find out your car's potential worth. Visit gumtreecars.com.au.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
For Australian designed and engineered storage solutions for your ute that'll keep your stuff safe and secure, see TC Boxes. Their trays, canopies and toolboxes are perfect for on the job and awesome for a spot or weekend camping with the mates. Visit tcboxes.com.au.
To amplify results, performance must be measured. Musashi has been working with professional athletes for more than 30 years. They focus on optimizing athletic performance through advanced sports nutrition for all levels of athletes. Musashi research, develop and test their products, delivering the fuel you need to amplify speed, power and focus for your sport. Musashi, performance amplified.
Are you a tradie building new homes? Ask your builder, can you guarantee to pay me weekly, on time, every time? We're part of a 330-year-old company with the financial strength to weather any storm. Build your family's future with confidence. Henley.com.au.
Hi, I'm Peter Mitchell from 7 News. We'll get answers to the pressing questions. Interest rates, your health, Melbourne's famous weather, the latest in footy.
Know the news. 7 News. Every night at 6 o'clock.
This is Ben Reid. The best opportunities are the ones that no one else knows about. For buyers of property right now, there are more off-market properties than ever before. And Ian Reid Buyer Advocates know how to find them. So if you're in the market to buy, an Ian Reid Buyer Advocate can give you exclusive access to hidden gems and negotiate the best price. Opportunity is knocking. Call 9430 0000 or visit ianreid.com.au.
Ian Reid Buyer Advocates.
Buy your home a better way.
Go on, ring us.
Bailey Ladders, kicking goals on the worksite for over 60 years. Whether you're a seasoned tradie or just a rookie, on a Bailey ladder, you're working safer, smarter and more efficiently. Take your team to the top with Bailey Ladders. Check out the range at baileyladders.com.au.
I've been talking about the amazing Spinal Ease pillow for ages, and now after years of research, Spinal Ease have just released the amazing new Spinal Ease mattress, featuring an amazing button to change the firmness for any body, shape, size and weight. Plus a new mattress overlay to make your current mattress luxurious, and the Spinal Ease back support to add proper customisable comfort and support, all featuring the latest comfort technology and 100% Australian made. See the new Spinal Ease mattress at spinaleze.com.au.
Star 21 offers a new approach to your enterprise mobility strategy and delivers tailored mobility solutions that best meet your business needs using Telstra's 5G mobile network. Call 1300 Star 21 to discover the difference.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Farmers and fleet managers, they know. Construction crews and car mechanics, they know. And you know. Valvoline, the original engine oil.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Target, he's got 3 to beat, can't beat them all came to Fritsch, he did beat them, back to Jackson, back to Fritsch, opens up the angle and slots it. Opening goal of the afternoon to Melbourne.
Ben Brown will be close in when he completes his run-up. From 20 metres out, Ben Brown bangs it through. Melbourne making the better of their opportunities.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Score the classic McChicken today. Order via McDelivery.
Melbourne by 14 points at quarter time. Josh Jenkins.
Well, the D's probably didn't have the ascendancy in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes. That was Collingwood's, but Collingwood for all the numbers, and you can have a look at all the numbers, and a lot of them are in favour of Collingwood. Contested possession +6, taken one more uncontested mark, which I'm sure would be a key indicator for them, so that they're not just kicking the ball back to this Melbourne defence. But the only stat that really matters at the moment is Melbourne have had 4 shots on goal, and they've kicked 3 goals. Collingwood have had 5 shots on goal, perhaps even 6. They haven't kicked any goals. That's the difference in the ball game at the moment. We said all throughout the first quarter, you must take your chances, and Collingwood just haven't done that. So the longer it goes, the more that pressure builds. I've been in that situation where the goalposts become narrower and narrower and narrower, and someone just needs to stand up and say, don't worry, boys, I'm going to kick the first one, and then we're away. And Collingwood aren't quite at that stage just yet, but they certainly need a Ginnivan or an Elliott or someone to stand up and just go bang.
Clayton Oliver started with 16 disposals in the opening term, 208 metres gained for Safety Steel Sheds. Collingwood allow that. He's going to win the Neil Danaher medal by a street. De Goey's gone to him at the start of this second term. Opening bounce for Tyre Power, your match day favourites for Tyre Safety. Melbourne by 14 points. Collingwood to the punt road end in this second term. Good straight high bounce to deal with. Cameron wins the tap near De Goey. Oliver threatens underneath. Cameron is able to pick it up. Hand passes to Adams and then to Pendlebury. He'll deliver the Magpies to full forward. He wants Elliott. 1-on-1 with Hibbert. Hibbert made the spoil. Cox underneath. Missed the hand pass to McCreery and the moment passed. Hibbert tumbles out of the defensive area. A bouncing ball that's gathered by Jackson, who can turn and go. He blasts it down the wing. Gawn was his target. So wonky old kick. It pitches and bounces over the boundary.
So the wrong man going up for the area. Well, Jamie Elliott can take a big mark, but Mason Cox was left to do the roving, and he picked it up cleanly, but just the give was just off, and Collingwood missed another chance in front of goal.
Boundary throw in from the wing. Jackson taps it down looking for Viney. Crisp trying to dispute it. Viney worked over. He ended up over the top of it. He didn't drag it in underneath, and the umpire will ball it up.
So Melbourne starting with Max Gawn out of the goal square at full forward and Jackson in the ruck in this quarter, and Collingwood starting this quarter with Pendlebury in the middle. And Pendles gets on the end of this. Adams gave it to him. He gave it to Crisp. They're off half back. He heads long. Elliott's got 3 to beat. Can't beat them all, and Petty floats in. He's that May spare at the moment. His delivery to Harms almost put him in harm's way. Dacos pulled up at the last second, Josh Dacos, because he didn't have a chance to spoil it. Harms short to Spargo. He in turn short to Lever. He's got it at half back from Melbourne. 2 minutes in on the Makita rule, the outdoors clock, second term. And he hammers it long. Moore's going to fly. In fact, Moore flew way late. He knocked it down nicely to Josh Dacos. His spearing ball in the middle to Adams is tough. Adams beat 2, gathered it, gave it to Pendlebury. This is the moment. Pendles lace out. Mycheck can't mark it. Elliott crumbs it. Ginnivan, he's had 2 chances and missed both. And he doesn't miss this one. And the crowd erupts. First goal of the afternoon for Collingwood. 1-5-11, 3-1-19. Melbourne still lead. But we've got a game now, 2 minutes in, second term on the McDonald's scoreboard. Order your McChicken today via McDelivery.
They are not afraid to go for kicks back inside. There were numerous easier options for Dacos to take, but said, you know what, I'm going to go for it all. And so 2v1, Taylor Adams was the one. He stood up, the 2 demons fell over, and from there it was pretty much easy picking. Scott Pendlebury, another surprisingly poor skill error going inside 50, but they're able to clean it up, and Ginnivan is certainly the hardest opportunity he's had of the 4. Makes it count.
A play of the day, visit mildura.com.au. Melbourne by 8, bounced in the middle. Cameron the tap, Jackson the footy. Hand pass to Oliver, feeds it forward to the plate of Petrarca, pulled the kick perfectly inside 50 and onto the chest of Neil Bullen. And the temptation might have been to blaze it in deep. Petrarca saw what was unfolding. Just yanked it down 20 metres up ahead. In the channel, Alex Neil Bullen. A step inside 50. Neil Bullen puts it on a path to goal. It's at the right-hand post. It hits the right-hand post. It's Melbourne by 9 for McDonald's. Order your McChicken today via McDelivery.
Got magnets in those posts.
Yeah, magnetic post down there.
That in. The posts have been hit. So Darcy Moore to bring it in for Collingwood. So suddenly Collingwood get a reprieve with Melbourne going forward, and confidence should be up. McCreary gets on the end of that long pass from fullback. He heads down the line towards the wing. Mycheck used his body and his hands a little to perfection, I thought. Umpire didn't pay the mark. He edged out the debutant Turner and now looks at the umpire and asks why. Yeah, I've seen that paid before.
There's a mark.
Collingwood fans just letting the umpires know that's been a mark for 150 years. Viney gets on the end of this ball up, gave it to side bottom, gave it to Goey. Bends it around the body towards half forward. Mycheck's got 3 to beat here and gave the free kick away, and that'll upset the Collingwood fans even further. Gives the free kick away to Brayshaw, who's got it at half back. So 5 minutes gone, second term. 3-2 plays 1-5 Melbourne lead. That's on the Makita Rule, the outdoors clock.
Every replay for car sales is making the Magpie fans more irate. Kick comes inside to Salem. The switch is not on, so he'll stay on the southern side and pick out the short pass to Viney. Melbourne patient with the build-up. Viney has a short, but he's going to go the mid-distance pass. He was going for Oliver. Chris got a hand in there, knocked it to side bottom, released McCreary on a bouncing run. He's had 2 and he might take a third. He kicks instead, inside 50. Cox's turn to go, knocked away underneath. Elliott fights the good fight. Doesn't have the footy. Mycheck, loose hand pass straight to Hibberts. They come up empty-handed again. Hibberts hand pass out toward the boundary, goes over. It'll be thrown in, 55 out from the Collingwood goal. They trail by 9.
It's a bit weird. Now, Mycheck handed that straight to Hibbert. Must have been called for it. So ball about to be tossed in. Half forward flank Collingwood just outside their 50. Cameron knocks it down. Viney had a chance. Fumbled it, knocked it to Oliver. Had a chance. Missed it. Side bottom along the boundary to Cox, and it landed on the line and stays in. Melbourne gather. Brayshaw. Hibbert hammers it out. Oscar Elliott got there with a fist. Knocked it down in the Goey direction. He spun into a tackle. Got the handball away after a 720 spin in the tackle. Cameron on hands and knees. Comes out to Viney. He hits the Gawn, who comes up to the wing. He's got Fritsch in a one-on-one forward. Does he want it? He floats it wide out to Langdon, who runs to about 70. He's got Fritsch inside 50. He ignores that. Now he bangs it up high. Quainer's going to have to go. Got up there. Fritsch! Big leap. Couldn't mark it. Crisp nearly crumbed it. This is about 30 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Collingwood getting players back. Melbourne players circling, calling for ball. Umpire calls for a ball up. So 7 minutes gone. Second term, Makita Rule the outdoors clock. And it's still Melbourne by 9 points on the McDonald's. Order your McChicken today by McDelivery scoreboard.
Chris roves the stoppage, clears the defensive area. Cox up to meet it, dragged down in the Jackson tackle. He just couldn't get rid of it. And so it's holding the ball against Mason Cox. Luke Jackson with footy in hand. He's 2 kicks out from goal. He'll stay 2 kicks out from goal as he sags the ball to Salem. Lever wants it all the way across half forward. It would be low percentage. Salem's going to poke it to a dangerous area. Gawn brings it to ground. Oliver through the pack, gathered cleanly, snapped the goal. Here's on a tear, Clayton Oliver. He's made that look simple. 15-point leaders. Melbourne 4-2-26. Collingwood 1-5-11. 8 minutes into the second term on the McDonald's scoreboard. Order your McChicken today via McDelivery. It's a goal of the game for Host Plus. That's a plus.
You're spot on, Jared. That was a sublime one-handed gather. The kick was relatively simple in the end, but it was only because the gather was so good. It was so good. He is in rare touch. Mason Cox, in the end, probably had an opportunity to get that ball out, but he didn't. Ball went back inside 50. A nice contest from Gawn and the Melbourne forwards, and Oliver, he's just a class above at the moment.
Yeah, he grabs that with a hard hand. He misses it. He has to almost let it spin its way out on his palm. Ball palm down to Petrarca in the meantime. He gave it to Harms. Touch to the goal line. Stays in play and then rolls through for a behind. Another bullet dodged by Collingwood, with Melbourne missing another kickable shot in this second term. Quick kick into Elliott. I would have paid the mark. Umpire said no. Collingwood fans irate. Pickett picks it up and footy gods. He kicked it out on the full. Almost soccer style. We'll give it back to the opposition because they deserve to have it, not us. 9 minutes gone second term. 27 plays 11. Melbourne holds sway, but it's a fun game to watch at the moment.
Moore has it under the slide. He'll take the territory down the line. Lever and Elliott flew. Gorm ended up as the crummer. Quickly back inside. Risky for Collingwood's defence. Fritsch couldn't quite gather. Noble tidied up to Adams. Not a great hand pass. Oliver tipped it down to Fritsch. Off to Bowie. Kicks going to full forward. Ben Brown positioned himself one hand. Couldn't get the second bite. Maynard, they're all after him. Oh, Quaynor gave it straight back to Ben Brown. It's a horror show on the defensive goal line. Ooh. Ben Brown kicks the goal. Oliver's been floored in the aftermath. It may very well result in a second Melbourne goal once it all clears. As it is, it's a 22-point lead and the fights ensue in the aftermath. There's not a hole big enough for Isaac Quaynor to crawl into in the goal square, and he's hand passed it straight to Ben Brown.
Probably glad it's not, but that bump on Oliver looked from Maynard. Oh, I've seen those played. It would have been a big penalty, a harsh penalty, but Quaynor probably had no other option than to take the tackle and hope that his body weight was taken through for a rush behind. He had no teammates around. Really the better option was to get caught holding the ball than just hand it over to Ben Brown and let him kick his second.
Melbourne might lead by 22, but this game is far from over. Biggest lead of the game so far. Starting to assert their authority on it, Melbourne. But Collingwood not going to go down without a fight. Petrarca gets the clearance, heads to full forward. Big fist of Moore wins out. Quaynor, Spargo, Quaynor. Another dumping, hard tackle. This time Noble's put in his face. And he lets his opponent know, Harms, that he's not going to take any more of that. He wins himself a free kick. Last line of defence. And the kick out wide towards Murphy. He takes the mark on a half-back flank. Big crowd in MCG. Maybe 80,000 plus. Murphy pumps it down the line towards the wing. Cameron got there. Petty got there with a big fist, knocked it down to the front. Gathered by Nick Dacos, turned it over though. Gave it straight to Jordan. It was one of those ones that you sometimes give, hoping you can tackle him hard on the way back. Almost gave it straight to him so he could tackle him. And we'll get a ball up half forward flank for Melbourne, who lead 33-11 on the McDonald's. Order your McChicken today via McDelivery scoreboard.
Jordan at the source, got the kick away near the 50, cut off by Pendlebury, dragged down in the tackle, he threw that away. Maynard toes it near Lipinski. Salem the other way though, won the footy, hand pass to Sparrow, got caught by Maynard. He too got ferociously dealt with and holding the ball.
Had some hard hitting tackles today, Maynard.
Yeah. Up to side bottom. Pokes it over the top for Nick Dacos, covering the ground. He's on the members' wing. Oh, he tried to guide it to Cameron. He came up short and coughed it up to Gawn. It's a poor error. Inboard to Oliver. What's he up to for safety steel sheds?
This will be his 20th.
In the blue.
13th minute of the second quarter. Hand pass to Gawn. Works it around to Bowie. Got under the kick. Jackson's probably the legitimate target. A couple against. Maynard the spoil. Side bottom. Ran straight into Viney. And he's forced out over the boundary. He got the mercy call. No,
one
he did
umpire
it.
said ball.
Yeah, the out of zone umpire has rushed in and nailed side bottom holding the ball.
Wow.
Viney as a result up to use it. He runs around side bottom. Insult to injury. Kick into the pocket. Murphy's there to spike it away. It's out of play. 10 around from the behind post. Melbourne by 22. The action is hot for Ream. More than 80 years manufacturing in Australia.
I thought the tackle's not completed. Well, the tackle's dead once he goes across the line, so side bottom unlucky there.
And the Collingwood players set up for a ball in. Suddenly the other umpire ran in and said no, free kick Melbourne. And they were out of position. Spargo to Harms. Back pocket for Collingwood, forward pocket for Melbourne. Ball in.
I was actually going to say that's what Quaynor should have done, just let them tackle him over the line, but he wouldn't have been pinged down on the goal line, but didn't think side bottom would have been either.
So back into play. And Jackson edged out of it by Cameron. Hard at it, Viney, but he ran into a roadblock. Crisp, Maynard, Lipinski, wobbler with the outside of his boot accidentally. Side bottom place for the free back pocket, didn't get it. Ball in. Just checking with the umpire to make sure that's not holding the ball too. So 14 minutes gone. Second term on the Makita. All the outdoors with Makita clock. And the McDonald's scoreboard says Melbourne by 22. Ball back into play. Melbourne forward pocket. Oliver, another possession. I think there's 21 now. Although that only travelled 3 metres into congestion. And he's on hands and knees and he flicks that out. Hoping for Sparrow. Missed him. Maynard, who's been tackling to keep. Got a little trickling kick that just caught his toe. McCreary lays a pretty good tackle. Collingwood fans want ball, they don't get it. It'll be a ball up 50 from Melbourne's goal with the Demons still leading by 22.
Tossed up. Cameron's kick was smothered as he looked to clear the defensive area. He has to turn tackler on Jackson. The ball is buried underneath them.
These will be happy with this. The ball's just starting to live in their half of the ground. Lever and Gawn and Salem were able to set up behind the ball. This is how they want the game to be played.
Jackson tapped it goal side. Nick Dacos was there. Hand pass to Maynard. Worked it backward to Murphy. Squeezed the kick outside the defensive 50. Bowie's well placed. McCreary made the spoil. Jordan was trying to make something of it, but the boundary one out. 50 metres out from the Melbourne goal. 22-point leaders. Middle stages of the second term. Gawn to Ruck, cleanly down to Harms. Hand pass to Jordan. Kick goes inside 50, but Maynard is proving quite a force in this game. He stands his ground in front of Spargo and Marks. He'll dink the kick over the top to Lipinski. Had a quick look right into the centre square. It would have been foolhardy in the moments. Lipinski instead goes long down the line. Cameron and Myercheck were there. Brought to ground by the new lad in Turner. Bowie coming through the pack. Hand passed out near Oliver. Paddled it on to Sparrow. Dragged off it by McCreary. Hand pass to Cameron. Not clear yet. McCreary has another go. Pendlebury's about to get mown down by Viney. Holding the ball. Oliver claims the advantage. Might not have. Off to Harms. Got ankle tapped. Ball's about to turn over, I fancy. Hacked out in midair by Maynard. Brayshaw propelled himself at it. Trapped it on the ground. There's a bit of madness in all of that, and Brayshaw has been paid a free kick.
Yeah, there were so many free kicks in that little passage of play. The umpires almost had to try and play catch-up with free kicks, and in the end, simply put the whistle away. Brayshaw spears it down the line. Crisp gets there in front of Maxi Gawn. No free kick. But boy, the spoil took a little bit of ear. Ball comes to Dacos, to DeGoey, to Quaynor. He's got Ginnivan out the back. He didn't kick it long enough. Ginnivan might still get it. Great mark, Penny. Cut it off. Heads wide to Bowie. Short pass to Hibbert. So Melbourne have it at half back now. Short to Bowie. Still at half back. Inside kick. Well, he missed Lever. 3 Collingwood players around it. It'd be crazy if they didn't kick a goal from this. Elliott kicks behind. It is crazy.
Just going to mention Elliott only had the 3 disposals up to that point. That would have just got his game ignited. That would have got him started. Ollie Henry, the other one, hasn't touched the footy yet. Need some of these small forwards to come alive for the Pies.
The frustration is palpable down on the bench for Craig McRae. They're down by 21 points. Kick in wasn't great. It found Salem and he had time to deliver for Sparrow. McRae down on the interchange for Terrador by New Farm Spike herbicide. That cuts through. Sparrow at left half back for the D's. Short pass to Langdon. Langdon's eyes darting. Nothing obvious to work with to any great advantage, so it's a short pass for Viney. Viney will continue the momentum going forward with a longer kick. Jackson's got a few to fly against. Moore made the spoil. Near ball in front and square. Kicks it up into the pocket. Bounces and continues over for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the D's. kick the next goal you fancy. And clears the ruckman on the throw-in. Cox has a second go at it. Viney, though, pulled it clear to Harms in the tackle. Should have been holding the ball Pendlebury's way. Didn't get it. Howe, hand pass to Hoskin Elliott. Towed it out of the defensive area. Lipinski is onto it. Langdon drags him over the boundary. Throw it in, 60 out from the Melbourne goal.
The booze back. Collingwood fans thinking they're on the worst side of it at the moment. From the men in yellow, ball about to be flung back into play. Cox and Gawn just outside Melbourne's attacking 50. Ball flicked back to Nick Dacos, over to Pendlebury. He looked inside to go with a slap onto McCreary. That works. De Goey wants it back. Runs through the centre circle. Floats the kick towards half forward. Here's Henry's moment. Gathers 40 out. Sends it goal square. Mycheck! Got it! Mycheck on the goal line. He could almost have let it go, but he can be cut some slack for not quite knowing exactly where he was. And he will kick a goal from 3 metres out. The goal they desperately needed. They're about to bring the Collingwood fans' voice back to volume. Here we go. Second goal for Collingwood. And it's game on again. McDonald's scored the classic McChicken today, order via McDelivery. Scoreboard 2-6-18 Collingwood. Melbourne 5-3-33 for Shaw. Uniform experts at the 20-minute mark of the second term. Here's our expert, Josh Jenkins.
What a 6.5 minutes we've got remaining here before half-time. Collingwood have actually had more scoring shots, or more shots at goal, if you include De Goey's left foot snap, which went out in the full. So they've created enough opportunities. That was one where they made the most of it. Mycheck was able to take a nice strong mark in the goal square. Probably had to take the mark just to be sure of it. He kicks the goal. Ollie Henry gets involved in the game for the first time, so that's good. Ginnivan's looking dangerous getting out the back. They just haven't quite been able to get it to him on occasion. So Collingwood do look good when they can come through the corridor with speed.
Melbourne by 15. Cox tap was sharked by Viney. Hand pass to Petrarca and now to Gawn. Melbourne getting an ascendancy in the middle. Hand pass to Jordan, who used it well around the 50 for Spargo. He had a couple of options instantly inboard, didn't use them. Spargo stabs the pass. He wants Jackson and he takes the juggling mark in the pocket. Flew early, wore the contact from Howe, completed the mark on the way down. So I think he just got beaten in the goal square at the other end, didn't he, by Mycheck? Yep. And from the very next play, he's marking it full forward and he can cancel that goal out.
Quick learner.
There is an angle to deal with, but he is close in to goal. Luke Jackson from the right forward pockets. No, he's missed near side. So he leaves it on the table. 16-point leaders Melbourne. McDonald's scored the classic McChicken today, order via McDelivery.
That's the end with the glad wrap on it that Josh Jenkins was telling you earlier on. Ginnivan flies on the wing. Collingwood transition it nicely, although Hoskin Elliott left it behind. Now Melbourne circle. Viney picks it up. Melbourne now back to half forward. Little fumble by Moore this time. To Crisp, no fumble. To Maynard, no fumble. To Elliott, middle of the ground, no fumble. And they are away. Quaynor is going to have to get on the boot. He does. He launches it. Mason Cox has got the height and the hands this time. They deserted him in the opening quarter, those hands. Got to the ball a couple of times, but just couldn't hold the Sharon. And now Mason Cox, 30 metres out, 45-degree angle. And let his feet do some talking. Can he kick it? He wipes his hands together and wipes them on the back of his shorts. 4 minutes left to half-time. In he struts and he misses. So 23 gone to be exact on the Makita clock. Makita ruled the outdoors with Makita and the scoreline. 5-4-34 plays 2-7-19. Melbourne lead.
Collingwood leading the contested marks 8-3 for safety steal sheds. Hibberd goes long on the kick in. Gawn's his target. Moore made the spoil. Oliver's underneath. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Melbourne build out of half back. Gives it off to Viney and back to Neil Bullen. He'll kick to the members' wing where Jordan will take the mark and can instantly play on. He turns and looks ahead. His only real option was Spargo short, so they buy a little bit of time. Spargo runs the contour of the boundary, delivers to half forward. On the lead, no mark, Mitch Brown. Petrarca screwed it inside 50, cut off by Howe. Hand pass to Goey. Sharp hands back to Nick Dacos, then to Josh and around to Murphy. Had to get a kick out of a dangerous area. Levers tracking it, takes an awkward bounce. It's still to be dealt with underneath. Viney rode the tackle, released it. Levers hand pass, not much good. Nick Dacos against the flow. Ball loose on the wing. Adams was brave. McCreary's turn to go. Spargo wore the high contacts. It was too aggressive coming in from Adams. And Spargo wins the duel on the members' wing.
It's a big ball. Collingwood were almost out.
11 free kicks to 7 in Melbourne's favour thus far. Spargo will deliver to half forward. Gawn coming one way, Cox the other. Cox brought it to ground. Viney tried to force his way clear. Should go holding the ball, and he does. Gave up his pride trying to fend his way clear.
Hey, he's a good player, Nick Dacos. He is a cracker. He tackles, he finds targets. He gave this off to Noble. Kicked it towards Cameron at half forward. Is there an arm chop free? Is a Shepherd free? So Collingwood come up with it. Cameron looks inboard. He's got McCreary. He's 60 from goal. He's got Goey. He ignores that. He goes to Big Mason. And Big Mason Cox has it 45 directly out. He wipes his hands again and wipes them on the shorts and thinks, okay, I missed the last one. This is a huge moment.
Huge.
2 minutes left to half-time. This will be for 2 goals in a row for Collingwood heading to half-time. He takes the full allotment of time. It's actually a pretty good shot at goal normally. Struck this pretty well, not well enough. Wow.
Such an almost day, Maso. He's had 2 looks at the footy ahead, basically point blank range that he's let drop.
14-point margin.
Shots on goal.
Hibbert into Brayshaw, out to Bowie. 2-8 Collingwood has kicked. Bowie long down the southern wing. Ben Brown committed, but he dropped the mark. Goey on the turnover. Hand pass to Crisp. Coming back inside. Where's he gone? Myercheck. Full-chested as ever. And surely Brodie from 25 out will make it a single-digit margin. Big deep breath. There'll be sweaty palms in the Collingwood forward line for what's been missed so far. Surely not so contagious as to afflict Brodie Myercheck. Marches into goal. Kicking for his second. He's got it. And the margin is a very manageable 8 points. Collingwood 3-8-26. Melbourne 5-4-34. With 1 minute and 17 to play. It's a play of the day. Visit mildura.com.au.
All right, guys. Which coach blinks first? Is it the first-year coach Craig McRae, or is it the premiership coach Simon Goodwin? Melbourne are clearly playing with significant width. They want the ground to be as big as possible, but what it's doing is it's allowing Collingwood to cut them up through the middle of the ground. The scoreboard suggests both teams should go about their business as they have in the first half, but there's 2 distinct different styles here, and can't wait to see which one is going to pay off.
So Max Gawn's gone down to the rooms early, and some interesting nouns and verbs being fired around as well. We'll keep an eye on that. It's been hot in the kitchen from the outset, and Jackson's in the ruck, and he wins it, but he got caught. Nick Dacos again. Gave it to Goey. Gave it to Sidebottom. Back to Goey, about to be run down. He shimmies his way to the wing. Danced inside, goes back to Noble. We've got 1 minute left to half-time. Noble heads toward Henry at half-foot, beaten by Hibbert. Got to do better than that. Hasn't had a big first half. And Hibbert saves the day here. He heads down the line towards the wing. Big fist of Moore wins out. Ball hits the deck. Funneled out to Crisp. Missed his target. Sparrow's got it. Gave it to Oliver, who's had an epic first half. Heads to half forward. Murphy gets there for Collingwood. Can't take the mark. Dumps it out. So 35 seconds to half time. Collingwood in front of Gold, their own worst enemy, 3-8. Melbourne's class shows at the scoreboard 5-4. Still time enough for something crazy from this ball in. Clock starts ticking. We're down to 29 seconds as Cox takes it out of the air. Can't get away with it. Petrarca, he came up with it. Flung a handball out in the Oliver direction. His kick half smothered. Stayed in play. He's got it again. Stayed in play. Comes up to Josh Dacos. He fires it towards the wing, hoping for Henry, who's got it. So the seconds keep ticking. 12 seconds left. He's going to have to slam it on the boot. Gets it to half forward. They need a mark here. McCreary, half forward flank, can't mark it. Lever's got it. Hands to Bowie. Hands to Salem. Siren sounds. Half time. MCG. 80,000 fans, maybe more. And they're watching maybe the foundation set for a classic here. 3-8-26 Collingwood. 5-4-34 Melbourne. But they are in this up to their eyeballs, the Magpies, playing for the win. They can get them inside the top 8. That score for McDonald's. Score the classic chicken today. Order via McDelivery. We'll hear from our expert Josh Jenkins for Shaw Unify Uniform Experts shortly. Let's take a break, take a breath. Straight back here with the halftime foreshow.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. Order via the My Macca's app and start earning today.
It remains a bit slow on the Hume Freeway if you're inbound through Beveridge and again through Donnybrook as people return from the long weekend away. Same story on the Maroondah Highway as well. It's struggling inbound through Coldstream and we're seeing big delays on Jacker Boulevard outbound heading past St Kilda Beach through St Kilda. Today's your last chance to shop the DFO Big Brand Sale at DFO Essendon, Moorabbin, South Wharf and Uni Hill. Shop big deals on big brands today. Want big bargains? Need DFO. That's the latest SEN Sky Traffic.
Business owners, stop paying merchant fees and terminal rental. Talk to SmartPay today for zero cost FPOS. Visit smartpay.com.au. Minimum turnover and T's and C's apply.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch up button on the SEN app.
NAB Equipment Finance can help you to make ideas more. Search NAB Equipment Finance today. NAB, more than money. T's and C's and lending criteria apply.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch up button on the SEN app.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stock take sale, which means you have the power to save on Kumho tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
For wet weather gear to stay warm and dry this winter, hit up safetyhq.com.au.
Here's a cracking deal. Get a free Mac puffer jacket when you buy a pair of Mac Octane boots. Conditions apply.
So where's the first place you should go this month? safetyhq.com.au.
There's a saying Grimboss building surveyors live by each and every day. We make it happen.
Grimboss continue to be the leading experts in commercial, residential and industrial development. Bringing over 2 decades of combined experience, Grimboss building surveyors provide first-class consultancy, experience and expertise. Melbourne's most highly regarded and skilled registered building surveyors and building code consultants. Grimboss ensure every project is compliant.
We make it happen. Grimboss.com.au.
This is Ben Reid. A lot of agents have never seen rate rises or high inflation in their whole careers. That's why you need an Ian Reid vendor advocate on your side. Visit ianreid.com.au.
Ian Reid Vendor Advocate.
Go on, ring us.
What do Immaculate Pavers say about you? They say, this family sends Christmas portraits. So protect your natural stone, concrete and reputation. Call Australia's Stone Protection Specialist, Prestige Surfaces.
Race into RSCA Safety for mega savings on big brands. Save $60 on Timberland Pro footwear. Save up to 30% off Cat. Save up to $30 on Carhartt. Sale on selected styles. Stores open 7 days. RSCA Safety's mega EOFY sale now on.
What's for dinner? Eat good, feel good with rolled Vietnamese. Lunch, dinner, or a fast feed after training, Rolled has the healthy meal you crave. Hot fur noodle soups, crispy pork belly rice bowls, steamy bao buns. Freshly made in-store every day. From our family to yours. Download the Rolled app, order now. Rolled. Fast, fresh, Vietnamese.
You need to get a booster to stay up to date with your COVID-19 vaccinations. Boosters are now approved for everyone 16 years and older, 3 months after your second dose. Boosters increase your protection against becoming very sick or dying from COVID-19 and are available through your GP, pharmacist or other healthcare professional. Book your booster at australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
The moment, Pendles lace out, Mycheck can't mark it, Elliott crumbs it, Ginnivan, he's had 2 chances and missed both, and he doesn't miss this one. First goal of the afternoon for Collingwood.
Salem's going to poke it to a dangerous area. Gawn brings it to ground. Oliver through the pack, gathered cleanly, snapped the goal. Here's on a tear, Clayton Oliver. He's made that look simple.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Score the classic McChicken today. Order via McDelivery.
Here's just a couple of the Macca's I'm loving it moments from the first half. Score 20% off your order when you spend $10 or more at Macca's. If you've just joined us on AFL Nation, halftime score, Melbourne 5-4-34, Collingwood 3-8-26, 8-point margin to Melbourne at halftime, but Collingwood's inaccurate kicking has been the flaw in their game. 3-8 plays 5-4, had their chances to maybe go to halftime in front, but it's game on here. It's been a ripper so far. Halftime floor show thanks to Choices Flooring. See your floor change in an instant with Room View at
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. Choices Flooring's Watch Your Lifestyle catalogue sale on now.
Always great to have Choices Flooring on board for AFL Nation's coverage of the big game. Stats wrap for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last. Safety Steel Sheds. Clayton Oliver leads all comers. 27 possessions in the opening half, so he's on track for a 54 possession game if they don't shut him down in a hurry. Jack Crisp, the leading possession getter for Collingwood, but Nick Dacos was 17, Jack Viney was 16, Jordan De Goey playing pretty well as well with 15, Braden Maynard with 15, Christian Petrarca with 15 to half-time. They are the stats for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last. The player power rankings, Red Energy is proudly Australian. Call their Aussie team today on 131806. Well, Clayton Oliver leads the power rankings. His 27 possession first half, pretty hard to beat. But Nick Dacos is second on the power rankings and having a huge impact as well. Our play of the day for Mildura Regional Development. Visit mildura.com.au. Well, maybe Ginnivan's first goal got Collingwood on the board. It was desperately needed. But maybe also Fritsch's opening goal for Melbourne. Collingwood had 3 opportunities to kick the first goal of the afternoon. It went down the other end. Bailey Fritsch kicked the ripper and put Melbourne on the board with the first goal. And they've really held the ascendancy since then. So that opening from Fritsch and Melbourne, allowing them to keep Collingwood at arm's length, even though they're only 8 points down at half-time. Our play of the day for Mildura Regional Development. Visit mildura.com.au. The Amy Clanger, who covers clangers, Amy does. Well, there's been a few. We talked about Collingwood's poor kicking. Well, Ginnivan's missed a couple, and Mason Cox has missed a couple of marks that he should have taken inside 50 as well. Collingwood would probably be in front had Ginnivan not missed a couple, and Cox had marked a couple just outside the goal square as well. So they are perhaps the Amy Clangers that have been the difference in this game, thanks to Amy, who covers clangers. Amy does. Player of the day so far for Whirlpool, designed for environment. Well, Clayton Oliver, obviously, with 27 possessions, is the player of the day so far. He's almost been unstoppable. So if Collingwood want to win this game, you reckon they're going to have to do something about Clayton Oliver in this second half. But that's been the story for Melbourne for quite a while now. When Clayton Oliver flies like he does, he is pretty hard to stop, even though a lot of teams have tried. Most improved player for Valvoline. Which oil keeps your business moving? You know, Valvoline. Well, for me, it's Nick Dacos. He came into this competition with a huge reputation. He started brilliantly, and he just keeps getting better. He can hit a target. He's a great user of the ball, but he also tackles hard and gets back and wins a hard ball in defence. So to me, it's Nick Dacos. So I'll give him the most improved player because to me, he just keeps getting better. For Valvoline, the original engine oil. The Australian-made smart play, support Aussie jobs. Australian-made makes Australia. Probably the Oliver clean-handed gather and goal, as you heard Gerard Whateley call it in that highlights package. Instead of just snatching at it, he kind of let it hit the soft palm of his hand, let it settle, and then off he went, kicked the goal straight after. He's a class act, Clayton Oliver, but he's also got great, clean hands, and he can do stuff that other players can't do because he is so clean-handed. So he is our Australian-made smart play player. Support Aussie jobs. Australian-made makes Australia. Injury update for victorsports.com.au. Well, there might be a problem with Max Gorn. We don't know yet. Neither sub has been used yet, so neither team has had to even warm their sub up. But we'll keep an eye on Max Gorn. He went down at half-time about a minute before everybody else went down with the siren sounding. So we'll keep an eye on that for victorsports.com.au. The unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. I'll be giving it to Braden Maynard's opening tackle on Pickett. He slipped the tackle initially. Maynard went back after him and tackled like he intended to make it stick. And boy, did he make it stick. And every Maynard tackle since then has been tackled to make it stick. I love the way he goes at it, Braden Maynard. So unmissable moment for me is that tackle that really set the foundation for the way Collingwood's players attacked the ball this afternoon. That's the unmissable moment for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. Our MEGT Rookie of the Day. MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Call 13 MEGT today. Well, obviously, I'm going to say Nick Dacos because I love everything he does. But Daniel Turner's been pretty good as well. The debutant for Melbourne hasn't done anything wrong, hasn't had a ton of possessions, but at least he's looked up to the level. So good news for Melbourne fans with Daniel Turner on debut. For MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Our travel partner for AFL Nation, by the way, is Samsonite. Innovate Travel and Business Solutions. Innovative Travel and Business Solutions with Samsonite. Check out the Samsonite range either in-store or online. This has been the Halftime Floor Show. So we'll hear from Josh Jenkins very shortly, our expert for Shawl Unify Uniform Experts. We'll find out from Gerard Whateley as well whether the Horne-Francis decision has been handed down by the tribunal. So plenty still to come during the Halftime Floor Show. Thanks to Choices Flooring. As we go to a quick break, Melbourne lead by 8 points. 5-4-34 to Collingwood 3-8-26.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
It remains a bit slow on the Hume Freeway if you're inbound through Beveridge and again through Donnybrook as people return from the long weekend away. Same story on the Maroondah Highway as well. It's struggling inbound through Coldstream and we're seeing big delays on Jacker Boulevard outbound heading past St Kilda Beach through St Kilda. Today's your last chance to shop the DFO Big Brand Sale at DFO Essendon, Moorabbin, South Wharf and Uni Hill. Shop big deals on big brands today. Want big bargains? Need DFO. That's the latest SEN Sky Traffic.
Turn your morning coffee into a cup of kindness at McCafe. Purchase any medium or large coffee before June 28 and 10 cents will be donated to Ronald McDonald House Charities.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
This winter, place your car tyres in safe hands. Go and see Tyre Power during their stock take sale now on. As the conditions on the road get more slippery this time of year, you need to be careful when driving. The safety of your family depends on quality tyres, and Tyre Power values the safety of your family. During the stock take sale on now, buy 3 get 1 free on selected Kumho passenger and SUV tyres. Each Tyre Power is 100% independent and locally owned. Find your Aussie local at tyrepower.com.au.
Want to get started exploring the popular space of cryptocurrencies? Then check out CoinSpot, Australia's favourite crypto exchange, trusted by over 2 million customers. Instantly buy and sell Bitcoin plus hundreds more cryptos easily with CoinSpot's simple-to-use website and app. CoinSpot, Australia's choice to buy, sell and swap cryptocurrency. Visit coinspot.com.au and create your free account in minutes.
Are you a tradie building new homes? Ask your builder, can you guarantee to pay me weekly, on time, every time? We're part of a 330-year-old company with the financial strength to weather any storm. Build your family's future with confidence. Henley.com.au.
For wet weather gear to stay warm and dry this winter, hit up safetyhq.com.au.
Here's a cracking deal. Get a free Mac puffer jacket when you buy a pair of Mac Octane boots. Conditions apply.
So where's the first place you should go this month? safetyhq.com.au.
This is Ben Reid. The best opportunities are the ones that no one else knows about. There are plenty of off-market properties to buy right now, and we know how to find them. Call 9430 0000.
Ian Reid Buyer Advocates.
Go on, ring us.
I've been talking about the amazing Spinalese pillow for ages, and now after years of research, Spinalese have just released the amazing new Spinalese mattress, featuring an amazing button to change the firmness for any body, shape, size and weight. Plus a new mattress overlay to make your current mattress luxurious, and the Spinalese back support to add proper customisable comfort and support, all featuring the latest comfort technology and 100% Australian made. See the new Spinalese mattress at spinaleze.com.au.
What do immaculate pavers say about you?
They say
I play mixed doubles on a weeknight. So protect your natural stone, concrete, and reputation. Call Prestige Surfaces.
The pursuit of adventure begins at Harley Heaven with a ride on a Harley Davidson. And with new motorcycles becoming harder to get, they've got stock. We have Melbourne's largest range of new and used Harley-Davidson motorcycles ready for immediate delivery. With great in-house finance and insurance offers, we can have approved customers out on their dream Harley-Davidson motorcycle this week. Start your search now at your local Harley Heaven, City, Dandenong and Ringwood. Find more details at harleyheaven.com.au.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Farmers and fleet managers, they know. Construction crews and car mechanics, they know. And you know. Valvoline, the original engine oil.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
At the Demons, 5-4-34, Collingwood 3-8-26. Mychek's kicked 2 for the Pies. Ben Brown has kicked 2 for the D's. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. The NRL's encounter this afternoon. The Bulldogs 16 leading the Eels 0. Nothing yet from the MRO with the adjudications on yesterday's footy. Josh Jenkins, what are we thinking at halftime as the D's re-enter the field?
Well, again, I want to harp on this difference in game styles and which coach may need to blink first or which coach will blink first, because Melbourne are noticeably, and I'm thinking this is a reaction to them wanting to give their offensive game style more opportunity to flourish, and they're playing the game when they've got the ball with their wingers and half-forwards really, really wide. So their wingers are standing right out towards the boundary when they've got the ball in slow play, and that's to set up or to give their teammates more space, more opportunities to find another mark and create fast play and give their forwards space ahead of the footy. But what it's doing when they're forced to kick it long down the line and Collingwood can win the ball back in the sort of back half of the ground or the back arc, they're able to come back through the middle with real speed. And those Melbourne players who are set up wide don't have enough time to come in and defend. And Collingwood have looked really good and really dangerous coming through the centre of the ground, and they've been more than willing to take it. That's the thing with Melbourne. You must be willing to take the kicks back inside, and Collingwood have been more than able and more than willing to do that. Just haven't necessarily kicked accurately because they could mount a case for themselves being in front in this game. But the scoreboard's the truest reflection of what's happening, and at the moment, the D's have kicked more accurately.
So Collingwood are leading the clearances. Melbourne started to prevail out of the centre square. Collingwood's holding sway the rest of the way around the ground. Oliver's up to 27 at half-time. He was less impactful in that second term than he was in the first.
He was. Kicked that beautiful goal, though, to kick off the second quarter. So by no means did he go missing in the second quarter, but he was just completely out of control. He was off the chain in the first quarter, 16 disposals in that first quarter. So he will be looking to go again. Max Gawn's the story in terms of how he can play or how he can perform in the first 5 or 6 minutes of this quarter. He'll We'll be watching him closely, and they'll be assessing him closely. And if he starts in the ruck, that's a good indication that he's ready to go. But if he starts forward, or if he even potentially starts off the ground, that will certainly let us know that he's got an issue. So this game's really, really nicely poised. It's been hard fought. It's been ferocious. It's been spirit. The crowd is completely into this game, and as well they should be, because it's two teams having a red-hot crack.
Collingwood's forward set up, so Mason Cox has had a look at 4. He's dropped 2 marks. He's kicked 2 behinds from the chances that he's had. Henry has thus far been unsighted today. Myercheck's kicked 2 and presented in the same manner that he always does. And Ginnivan's looked likely up front. He's kicked 1 goal too.
Yeah, and you can throw Elliott into that category as well. They're guys, none of them get high possessions. So what you need to do when you're low possession play, you need to be maximum impact. And Cox has had opportunities. He's had two fantastic aerial opportunities, really close to goal, which if he marks, you'd presume he converts at least 1. And then he has had 2 shots on goal, 2 set shots, something he generally does excel at, and he's missed both. So he's left some opportunities out there. Henry's just been nowhere to this point. He's a young player, expect him to have ups and downs. And Elliott, he would have loved to have kicked that goal late in the second quarter just to get his game started. So they're relying on Myercheck and Ginnivan at the moment. So Elliott, Henry, Mason Cox, who is going to start down on the interchange bench. When they get their opportunities, they need to make them count.
The fight MND target has been met. More than $2 million by half-time. So those who have given generously, the big freeze was such a feature of the pre-match, and the chance to stand and be inspired by Neil Danaher again, fully embraced by the football world. So we'll get a final tally as this afternoon unfolds. 5-4 to 3-8, Melbourne by 8. Opening bounce of the third term for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety. You're with Dwayne Russell.
So an 8-point lead to Melbourne. Second half about to get underway in front of 80-odd thousand here. Both teams have gone a little smaller. Jackson starting on the bench for Melbourne and Cox starting on the bench for Collingwood. Collingwood get the clearance. Hammered forward, but lever. Right spot, right time. Saving mark. Short. Salem. Half-back flank. He stole a 28th possession for Oliver there. He was headed for Oliver, but Salem just jumped into the middle of it. Gave it to Petrarca. He's getting a little sloppy to Neil Bullen. Hoskin Elliott's got it. He was caught. Back to Petrarca, who mops up his mess with a handball to Oliver. He in turn to Salem. He in turn nicely to Mitch Brown. About to send Melbourne inside 50. Ben Brown calling for it. Ignored. Fritz calling for it. Ignored. Short to Petrarca instead. Petrarca is 80 from goal. He pulls it to the pocket to Gawn. Had hands on it. Then he got another chop free as well. Noble plays on into traffic. Handball straight to Viney though. Bends it around. Full forward. Got it there. Opening goal. Second half Melbourne. 6-4-40. Placed 3-8-26. Opening minute. Third quarter for Mate. Australia's most satisfied NBN customers scoreboard. Our expert Josh Jenkins for sure to unify your team.
It's a nice kick inside 50 to Max Gawn. He would like to have taken that. And Noble cleaned it up at ground level and thought he was playing rugby league. He's not the biggest on the ground. He's probably the smallest, and he decided just to try and take a couple of tacklers on. He did get the handball out, but it was to no one. Viney picked it up, and on the non-preferred right foot, he got a real nice piece of that, and that's a beautiful start. 62 seconds into the third quarter for the D's.
It's a goal of the game for Host Plus. That's a plus. Jack Viney enters the reckoning there. Melbourne by 14. Bounced back in the middle. Gawn and Cameron go to work. Gawn taps it down to Petrarca. Fed the hand pass, hoping for Viney, and found him. Out to the wing now for Langdon. The Demons come forward. Kick goes in the Fritsch direction. He flew. Pickett threatens. Moore stole it away from him. Great defensive lunge. To Maynard, to Murphy. Bouncing ball. Cut off by Oliver, who ran into Crisp, and he's gone holding the ball.
Oh, 50, surely. Dropping on the deck.
Both umpires were closing from various angles. Neither saw the additional penalty. Crisp down the line. Henry presents up, takes the mark, kicks into the pocket. Elliott on the bounce, trying to get around Hibbard. Fed the hand pass to Adams. Kicks for the hot spot. Myercheck. Petty made the spoil. Ball loose. Lipinski with the snap. Missed. So the snap true at one end for Viney. False at the other for Lipinski. And it leaves the Pies 13 points adrift on the Mate Scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied NBN customers.
Nice start to the third term for Ollie Henry. A nice mark. Play on. Get yourself into the game. Feeling good about yourself.
Salem entrusted with the kick in for Melbourne. City end. Full-back. Plays on. Heads toward Ben Brown. He got up there. Had the reach and then almost the third grab. Wayne did well not to give him the free kick away with an arm chop. Viney feeds it wide to Brayshaw. Feeds it further on to Jordan. Feeds it to the wing to Mitch Brown, who wobbles it just out of the reach of Howe. And the umpire says, toss it in. So the ball about to be flung in about 75 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Boundary umpire waits for the two ruckmen, Gawn and Cameron. Gawn waits for Cameron. They tie up. Petrarca got on the end of it in full flight. Gave it to Salem. Gave it to Oliver, who kept his width and was out there on his own. Sends it inside 50. Maynard got there to kill it with a fist. Didn't knock it over the boundary, though. Stays in. Fritsch had it for a long time. Crowd screaming ball. Murphy, boundary line. And it's rolled out of play about 40 metres around from Melbourne's goal this time. 4 minutes gone. Third term on the Makita. We'll be outdoors with the Makita clock. And still 27-40. Melbourne lead by 13.
40 metres out from the Demons' goal. Thrown into play. Ben Brown took it out of the ruck, tried to feed the hand pass off, ended up picking it up, dragged off it by Cameron. So a bit of a scroungy piece of play. Crisp tries to create something to Pendlebury out the back. Crisp again knocked off his kick. Hoskin Elliott, hand pass to Maynard. Let a bit of traffic go by to Quaynor. Pass the parcel to Pendlebury. Kicks down the wing. Well gathered up by Turner. And will turn up on debut. The spare man on the scene for the D's. He'll wheel out onto the right boot, kick it wide inside the 50. Didn't give Petrarca much of a look, and good body work done by Maynard to hold him at bay and take the intercept mark. Collingwood out across the face of goal through Moore. Now the expansive kick with risk. Mitch Brown got back, brought it to ground. Howe arrives, needed the hand pass to Murphy, which he missed. Harms tried to break the tackle. Hand pass to Mitch Brown, tumbles into the goal front. Petrarca's there. He fumbled it. You couldn't believe it. He was 4 metres out from goal on his own and the ball broke through his hands. Rushed behind, margin is 14.
That was bizarre. Could that be a little bit of a game turner? Close to the boundary, and it's a free kick to Jordan, caught high. 80 from goal. Had he let that go and not fumble it, it might have rolled through for a goal anyway. So Jordan inside kick. Cameron's about to cut it off. Ben Brown almost got there in front of them all. Fingertips, couldn't quite bring it in. Hoskin Elliott gave it to Quaynor. He mongrels Collingwood towards Mason Cox in the wing, and the downfield free kick against Pickett, who hasn't had a big afternoon at the office just yet.
No, just the 4 disposals for Cozzy. Important free kick to get to. Collingwood been struggling to get it out of their back half.
Yeah, so they do get it out of the back half with that 50 or downfield free kick now. And Elliott's got it on the wing. He's got Nick Dacos running for him. Nick Dacos has got it. Gee, uses the ball well.
Posed.
Unbelievably good for a first-year player. And he finds his brother Josh, who maybe have got that synchronicity anyway, but he hit him on the chest, and Josh sends Collingwood inside 50. Meyer checks down there. He's got 3 to beat and beats a couple of them. So Gawn was about to kill it from 3 deep, but Mason Cox did enough to keep Gawn out of the contest. Myercheck still had to beat 2, and he beat them both. And this becomes a massive kick. 7 minutes in. Third term. Well, they're all massive in a tight game in front of 80,000. In a game you can win to get inside the top 8. Tucked up against the boundary, just 3 metres in from the boundary. That's across the face. And it doesn't score. It's on the full. So Melbourne's free back pocket. 7 gone, third term. Makita ruled the outdoors clock, and it's still Melbourne by 14.
Lever marks the restart and spreads it back to Brayshaw. He goes bouncing through the defensive 50. Looks for a target down the southern wing. He found Fritsch, who couldn't quite hang on, but there's a push there from Moore. Fritsch with the free kick. Right on centre wing. Harms is pleading for it inboard, so too Salem. He goes the deeper of the two in Salem. Prods it up for Neil Bullen. Hangs on in front of Pendlebury, who flipped it loose right at the end, but it was just all in the tangle of the marking contest. Neil Bullen back to Fritsch, right half forward. Now he rifles the kick, but Moore saw it coming. And it's an easy intercept. No, he kicked it straight into Pickett, who made the smother, gathered the ricochet and kicked the goal. Cozzy Pickett has a way about him. And he inserts himself into the match with a fine piece of play. Charged down the kick of Moore and instantaneously snaffled the goal. Melbourne by 20 points. It's a goal of the game for Host Plus. That's a plus. And you are entitled to wonder what on earth was Darcy Moore doing.
Well, are you giving Cozzy Pickett too much credit? Because did Darcy Moore kick that straight into the back of him, or was there some level of involvement from Cozzy Pickett? Because, oh no, he did. You called it well, Jared. Of course he did. Cozzy Pickett he stayed alive in a situation where he could be forgiven for just dropping your head and running back up the ground. He stayed involved, threw it on the left foot. Isn't that's a Bendix Breaks big moment. Confidence stopping Bendix Breaks, because Collingwood should have been away. They concede a goal.
So 20 points to margin. Mad scramble in the middle. No one with the clearance. Umpire circling. Might have to pull it up again here. He lets them go for an eternity. Still lets them go. Still lets them go. Now he says no. Better do my job. Filling it in the air, and now there's 20 in there. And Petrarca still gets the clearance. Picks it towards Fritsch at half forward. Murphy beat him. Good mark. And he plays on dangerously to Nick Dacos, who weaves his way through half back. Hits toward half forward. Great pass. Cameron's got it. Hands it off to Adams. Looks inboard. He's got Big Mason Cox. He didn't want to give it to him. He just didn't want to. Not sure if he knew it was Mason and thought maybe not. Good tackle laid. Ball! Collingwood get it anyway. 30 metres out, directly up from goal. And that is a big tackle by McCreary.
Yeah, and I like the call too. I really like the call. Having a look at the car sales, everything you want to know, replay. Jake Lever, he didn't have a lot of time, but what he did is stick out the left hand to try and fend off. As soon as you do that, that's considered prior, and you are gone.
So McCreary, no need to tell you, when Collingwood's scoreboard says they're 3-9, they've wasted a lot of chances. No excuses here. 35 metres directly out. And makes no mistake. Goal umpire didn't move. And it's game on again. So Makita ruled the outdoors with Makita clock. We're halfway through this third term. In essence, 11 gone, 12 left. And the Mate Internet and Mobile Scoreboard. Award-winning Aussie service at Mate mobile plans from $20. Collingwood 4,933. Melbourne 7,547.
It's a good tackle. It was a good tackle, and Lever was a little unlucky. But when you do stick that hand out to fend, which was only partially interested in fending, but he did get pinched, and he was correctly adjudicated for holding the ball. And importantly, crucially, Creary went back and kicked the goal. He's had an okay day. He's been better than his stats. 8 disposals. It's his first goal for Safety Steel Sheds.
Crucial moment for New Farm, Australian through and through. Melbourne by 14 points. Bounced in the middle of the MCG. Cox went early, won the tap. Oliver's hunting the footy. He ran into Lipinski, who did well. He tied him up, jarred the footy loose. Adams underneath the pack to Lipinski to Crisp. Now to Cox. This is his moment. From 40 out, he sails it home. The Pies fans have come alive. Back-to-back goals in the third term. He had to strike eventually, Big Meso. They're down by just 8 points again. 5-9-39 to Melbourne 7-5-47, 12 minutes into the third term.
Well. Jack Crisp, again, like the play previous, was like, do I have to... Meso, there's got to be someone else. Better get tackled, and said, well, there's no one else. I'm going to have to give it to the big guy. The big guy said, just give it here. I'll finish it. What a finish from the big guy. He got knocked over, got straight up and said, get around me. That was a big finish. Gets them right back into this game. The Collingwood fans are up.
Are they what? You can hear it, hopefully, wherever you're listening to AFL Nation around the planet. Cox not taken off after the goal. He's been sent into the ruck and couldn't get the clearance, and Jackson does. To Oliver again. Heads long. More. Good mark between fullback and centre halfback. He doesn't kick it into Cozzy Pickett this time. He hands it to Nick Dacos. He runs, has a bounce, finds a target, Maynard wide. He heads to the wing. Getting there, Brayshaw, a bounce to his chest. Couldn't mark it, and then he fumbled it out. 39-47. A sea of blue, Freeze MND beanies around the MCG. 80,000 plus in the house, and they are seeing this evolve into a classic. Crisp to Cox again. Scrambles kick to half forward, but Brayshaw takes the mark for Melbourne on a half-back flank. D's lead, 47-39.
Corners come off and gone down to the rooms again for Spitwater, tough and ready. Happened near the end of the second quarter, happens in the middle stages of the third. Kick out to Sparrow. So came off, long discussion with the medical staff, and is headed down underneath.
Is it a foot or a toe?
He's certainly got a toe that is taped up, but it's hard to know. Sparrow's kick goes forward and Cox has planted himself there. He can rise to an occasion. And he's starting to feel it. Across the face of goal, just finds more. He can lose the crowd as quick as he can get it if that goes adrift. Across the face of goal to Nick Dacos, and the full switch now to Quaynor over on the near side. Stabs the kick up the line, has to be perfect. Hoskin Elliott didn't take the mark, does gather the footy. Hacks it onto the boot. Good contest to win up forward. Turn up, bumbled it clear. Elliott onto it, loose hand pass. Good tackle, Neil Bullen. Unlucky not to be rewarded. There's a couple down in the back play. Turner and Elliott slow to rise. Lever sweeps a hand pass forward for Melbourne. Quaynor swatted it away. Lipinski to Nick Dacos, coughed it up momentarily. And now fully. Sparrow to Jordan, bounced it inside 50. Good hands in close by Murphy. Nick Dacos and Howe each had a touch. They're conspiring to bring it into the middle. Lipinski with the flow through it onto the boot. Brayshaw is well placed though. He'll break it down. And Daniel Turner now has the medical staff with him, and he's in awful shape.
Yeah, no good. Big head clash with Jamie Elliott, who looks to be okay, but Turner's in big trouble.
He's coming off now, and he doesn't look like he's... Well, let's not be doctors. He doesn't look good. Let's just leave it at that. Towards the wing. Ginnivan, he stole that out the back over to Elliott, who feeds it on to Cameron. Elliott wants it back. He shimmies. He kicks toward the pocket. He had no other option. A little knock on by Hibbert, and he gets it to the boundary, but it looked vulnerable for a deliberate call or insufficient intent call. The umpire cuts him some slack. So Turner will be assessed. Find out soon if Melbourne's down a man. Collingwood fans see the replay, think that could have been insufficient intent. Ball rolls to Hoskin Elliott anyway. Gave it to Elliott. He kicks it inside. They need a mark. Chris can't mark it, and he used his body illegally, according to the umpire. He edged out Neil Bullen without going back to the ball quickly enough to attempt the mark. He edged him out and let the ball drop to the ground rather than edging him out and going back to attempt the mark of the ball. And Neil Bullen, in the end, gets it back again and heads out wide. Brayshaw has got it on the wing. And things settle a little. Inside kick to Harms. Bollian turned down to about 3 or 4 after it was up to 11. And Mason Cox took that huge goal and made it an 8-point game. Short pass toward half forward. Noble got there at half-back for Collingwood. Free kick. So Neil Bullen to take it. Melbourne's way.
She didn't feel like a free kick. Neil Bullen has it. He's going to set it up to full forward. What do they got? Ben Brown couldn't get there, and Cox is marking everything. He's up to move it quickly, got under it, finds Lipinski, it's okay. We'll resume our seats. Lipinski spreads to the near wing. Myercheck brought it to ground. He's in a grapple though with Petrarca, and Petrarca wins out. Hand pass to Brayshaw, dabs it forward to the play to Viney. Wants to give it back to Brayshaw in full flow, to Petrarca in full flow. Kick for Pickett, Cox again! He's impossible! He's just planted himself and he's picking off everything. He's looking like that All-Australian champion from the preliminary final a few years back. Up to McCreary, terrible kick. He wanted Pendlebury, found Brayshaw.
Brayshaw heads inboard, and he missed Neil Pullen, but he's got time enough to go back, although a little tap was good. He got it to Bowie. He heads wide. He's got Mitch Brown on the move, 80 from goal, and Mitch Brown marks it. The last thing they want to do is kick it to Mason Cox now. He's in the defensive, we're just out from the defensive goal square as Langdon's got this, 80 from goal. Jackson mans up Mason Cox, sends it in that direction. Mason gets there way late. Well, not down to Pickett. Tried to shrug, got a kick away, and it's on the full. Free kick, Collingwood back pocket, and the volume's back up to 11 here at the G. We're about to kick into time on third term, and it's still an 8-point lead to Melbourne on the Mate, Australia's most trusted Indian customers scoreboard.
Pendlebury to full back for Nick Dacos, who controls the flow. He has 3 bounces coming out of defence and lags the hand pass up to Quaynor, who kicks long down the line. Mycheck's coming from a fair way off, and Petty did well. He's landed heavily, and he might be in strife.
Just having a horrid time trying to get it past halfway, Collingwood. They keep bringing out a defensive 50. Cox is taking intercept marks. They just can't win these crucial contests at centre wing. They just can't get that one contest win to send them inside their forward half. Melbourne's team defence is standing up.
Petty's recovered his faculties, at least for the moment. He kicks it to Brayshaw and signals to the bench that he's okay. So we're under some man pressure. Gawn is off the ground, and it did look like Turner's probably undergoing the concussion protocols. Brayshaw up to Harms. Left half forward. Harms wheels into play, sets it up. Haven't really got anything at the drop. More let up Ben Brown, and he takes the intercept mark. So if Cox doesn't get you more will at the moment in defence, hand pass to Noble. He loves a daring run. 3 bounces, Pickett closes on him. Gets the hand pass away to Nick Dacos, who shuttles it back to Noble. Finds the way through. This is the kick they can't hit. Brayshaw made the spoil on Ginnivan again. Salem, Hibbard and Viney combined. Viney's under pressure, slipped the tackle, got himself out of a tight spot. Hibbard's turn, good hand pass, off to Sparrow, back to Viney, flopped the kick onto the chest of Nick Dacos. And up to Lipinski, spoil made, he tried to throw it out, cut off by Neil Bullen in the tackle, he released it. Frantic stuff. Nick Dacos to Pendlebury, to go, he runs into open space, kicks to the forward line. Mycheck, no! Cox plays Rover, hand pass to Elliott, he can run it in, and goal! Collingwood within a straight kick. The MCG is rumbling. 6-9-45, relentless, tireless stuff from the Pies. Melbourne 7-5-47. 21 gone at the third term. A play of the day for Mildura. Visit mildura.com.au.
Listen to them get around the big guy. In all seriousness, it's been a big quarter from Mason Cox. 3 intercept marks, so he's repelling Melbourne's forward thrust. He kicked a big goal himself. He got down into the forward line for the Pies. Picked that one up nicely off the ground. Flicked it over the top to Jamie Elliott. He's having a big quarter, Mason Cox, having a big influence, and his influence may continue because who knows as to Max Gawn's status. He's walking around the boundary, but he doesn't look super happy with himself.
So Mason Cox wins himself a little rest on the bench. Cameron into the ruck against Jackson. The 2 main rucks are out of it for now. Gawn's still on the bench, as Josh Jenkins told you. Collingwood threatening to take the lead. Pendlebury tumbles it to half forward. Brayshaw stands in the hole, takes the mark at centre half back, and they need a steady influence here in Melbourne. They lead by 2 points, 22 gone, third term, and the Makita will be outdoors with the Makita clock. Wide kick, Salem to Jordan. So some careful ball use from Melbourne at the moment. 4 minutes from three-quarter time. The chip kick good to Petrarca. So the usual suspects coming in to lend a hand. Petrarca to Viney. Experienced heads have got hold of it. Oliver lurking at half forward. Pendlebury shuts him down. Viney heads long, heads in the Jackson direction, and well, Ben Brown takes the mark. There's no Mason Cox back there to save the day, and Ben Brown's within range here. He's going to have to kick from 51, but it's doable. He backs his way back almost to the wing for this 50-step walk run as Max Gawn comes back on and Petty is heading straight down the race. So he obviously hurt himself when he hit the deck about 5 minutes ago, taking a mark. In the meantime, Ben Brown in his struts. With Melbourne leading by 2 points. He kicks from 51. Struck it long and struck it wide. Pulled it the near side. And it's a 3-point lead with 3 minutes left of three-quarter time. Melbourne 7-6, Collingwood 6-9.
Kick in is a quick one. It had some risk about it to go. He gathered. He tried to roll out the barrel. It's a haphazard ball up through the 50. Brayshaw arrives first in defence. He needs the outlet. Jordan provides it. So some chaotic and quick movements, but Melbourne up to the challenge. 3 minutes to go in the third term. Jordan out of half-back. Ben Brown and Fritsch, the two in the pack from an attacker's point of view, but they're repelled by Cameron, with Howe lending a hand in the pack. Cameron backs away. Where to? He guides it up the line. Josh Dacos stands in front. Myercheck was charging in. Josh Dacos had it under control. He spies the hot spot and lofts it in that direction. What have they got? Myercheck tirelessly from the side. McCreary to go. He brought down on a rampage toward goal. And it's going to be balled up, 15 out from the targets.
Myercheck's aerial contest is unbelievable. They're running back with a flight. Most players, 99 players out of 100, wouldn't have even attempted to have gone for that.
Gawn the tap, Salem the footy, hand pass to Oliver, took them on, got the kick away. Ben Brown spoiled by Howe. Ben Brown, though, recovered well. Fed the hand pass forward to Fritsch. Just needs something ahead of the ball. He waits for Petrarca, who looped around and marks at the interchange gates. He's been called to play on. Now he was outside the boundary. The ball was touched. It was touched on the way to Petrarca, so it'll have to be thrown in. The interesting part, Dwayne, in all of our conversation, so Daniel Turner is clearly having the concussion test on the head knock, and it wasn't that the two Port Adelaide players were concussed, it was why didn't they undergo the test? Yes. The right question never got asked. So Turner is undergoing the test for a head knock, and nobody knows yet whether he's concussed or not.
Yes, whether the initial test that Port did within a few seconds was enough, or whether it wasn't. That's how long is a piece of string for your test. Noble, in the meantime, kicks Collingwood to half forward. Henry almost. Lever almost. Collingwood could take the lead here. Henry's got it 60 out. He looks for Myercheck. Can't mark it. Ball rolls to the back. Elliott nearly held. Brayshaw's got it. Oh. He had to rush it. Was he outside the 9? He was on the 9, and he got away with it. Behind.
It was 9.5, Dwayne, I reckon. But he was under a lot of pressure.
Point game. 2 minutes to three-quarter time.
Kick-in's a long one. Ben Brown presents. Didn't mark. Cameron probed it straight back inside. It's a blind kick and it lands with Brayshaw. And Petty's clearly undergoing the concussion test as well. So Melbourne, it's every shoulder to the wheel at the moment. Out to Salem and on to Jordan. Salem looped around. He wasn't 15, so he hands it back to Jordan. Kicks out of half-back. Ben Brown's his target. He flies, brought it down, but Crisp was waiting for it. Collingwood worked the turnover. Adams in close to Pendlebury, ran into Viney, got it to his boot, but coughed it up. Oliver's kick is going to find Moore, who's camped on his own at half-back. And Collingwood construct a play to take the lead right on the three-quarter time siren. Moore's got some latitude. He uses the kick to Quaynor. He rolls around and goes and lofts to half forward. Elliott's closing on the pack. So too Myercheck. He'll give you every last ounce of what he's got. They're telling him to have a shot, or it'd take his absolute best. And then maybe some.
And then some.
You can't play on if the siren sounds.
He's got 20 seconds. He'd be better off to get it to the square, wouldn't he, and give the Rovers a chance?
Or does he have a torp in him?
What's Myercheck thinking? He's going to set it up to the teeth of goal, see if they can take a mark. Cameron flew. Gawn swatted it away, underfoot. What's there? Ball in motion. Siren sounds just before Taylor Adams threatened to grab it and swing it on the goal front. The lead is just 2 points in Melbourne's favour at the final change. 7-6-48. to Collingwood 6-10-46. So the Maggies booted 3 goals 2 to Melbourne's 2 goals 2 in that third term. Multiple goal kickers. Myercheck has 2 and Ben Brown has 2. There are casualties mounting, particularly in the Demons camp. We'll get the full thoughts of Josh Jenkins in a moment's time. The Mate Scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied NBN customers. It's Melbourne by 2.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile. Australia's most satisfied NBN customers. Internet from $59.
You've got a pretty stress-free run around the majors on your Queen's birthday Monday. No crashes or breakdowns getting in your way. A crash in Clyde, though. That's on Clyde Fiveways Road, just south of Bellato Road. Watch out for any crews who might be on the scene there. Reducing harmful engine deposits to take you further starts with mobile quality fuel at 7-Eleven. Claims are compared to unadvertised fuel and benefits may vary. See 7eleven.com.au for T's and C's. That's the latest SEN Sky Traffic.
If you've been drinking, don't risk driving. Police are out there, so chances are you will be caught. Anywhere, anytime. Drive safely for everyone. A message from the TAC.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
Want to get started exploring the popular space of cryptocurrencies? Then check out CoinSpot, Australia's favourite crypto exchange, trusted by over 2 million customers. Instantly buy and sell Bitcoin plus hundreds more cryptos easily with CoinSpot's simple-to-use website and app. CoinSpot, Australia's choice to buy, sell and swap cryptocurrency. Visit coinspot.com.au and create your free account in minutes.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stock take sale, which means you have the power to save on Kumho tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner-operator.
This is Ben Reid. If you've been holding off putting your property on the market, there's every reason to believe that this winter conditions will be favourable for sellers. Stock levels are declining, so buyers have less choice, which means more competition on available homes. But there are big challenges for those who don't get the right advice. For the best guidance, speak to an Ian Reid vendor advocate first. Call 9430 0000 or visit ianreid.com.au.
Ian Reid Vendor Advocates.
Sell your home a better way.
Go on, ring us.
Major building projects for the trade or a DIY home reno. Robot Building Supplies is the Australian-owned family-run business you can trust.
Robot's got it.
Robot's product range is vast and world-class. And when it comes to product knowledge,
Robot's got it.
Next day delivery in Metro Melbourne.
Robot's got it.
Over 70 years experience and reliability helping Melburnians. Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies. When there's a live sport around Australia, SEN will be there, bringing you all the big moments. When our SEN commentary team travels, they travel with Samsonite. Innovative travel and business solutions. Get around Australia with Samsonite. Expect innovation. Samsonite.com.au.
What's for dinner? Eat good, feel good with rolled Vietnamese. Hot pho noodle soups, hearty rice bowls and steamed bao buns. Made fresh and healthy in-store every day. Download the Rolled app. Order now. Rolled. Fast, fresh, Vietnamese.
For uniforms and workwear, there is a better way with Shawl Unify. Uniform management has never been so easy. Shawl Unify is an Australian company and your national B2B uniform and workwear expert with over 30 years experience in corporate uniforms and workwear. With their fresh approach to uniform management, Shawl Unify oversees uniform and workwear programs for some of Australia's leading organisations. Shawl Unify. Unify your team at shawlunify.com.
What do immaculate pavers say about you? They say, I'm welcome in the airport lounge. So protect your natural stone, concrete, and reputation with superior cleaning and sealing products called Prestige Surfaces.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Shot free as well. Noble plays on into traffic. Handball straight to Viney though. Bends it around, full forward, got it there. Opening goal, second half, Melbourne.
And it's an easy intercept. Oh, he kicked it straight into Pickett, who made the smother, gathered the ricochet and kicked the goal. Cosy Pickett has a way about him. Ran into Lipinski, who did well. He tied him up, jarred the footy loose. Adams underneath the pack to Lipinski to Crisp. Now to Cox. This is his moment. From 40 out, he sails it home. The Pies fans have come alive.
Macca's, I'm loving it moments. Score the classic McChicken today. Order via McDelivery.
Melbourne by 2 points at the final change. Daniel Turner is out of the game. Harrison Petty stays in by the looks of things, and Cade Chandler has been activated as the sub. That's the tale from a Melbourne perspective. How you seen it, Josh Jenkins?
Oh, it's fascinating from here because Collingwood have got all the run of play. They've got all the momentum, and Melbourne, the champs, they're wounded. Max Gawn's clearly not right. He's clearly not 100%, but it's a foot or it's a lower limb ailment, so he's going to tough it out. Looks like he's going to go forward to start this last term. So there you go. Straight away, that tells me he's not right, because if he was right in a 2-point ball game, he'd be going straight to the centre circle. Clayton Oliver, 27 disposals at the half, only 5 disposals in that third term. So he'll be keen to not avenge, but get back amongst things. And 6 intercept marks between Mason Cox and Darcy Moore. That was the catalyst for getting Collingwood back into the game, because they were to slingshot and play some footy in their half of the ground. This is going to be an absolutely outstanding fourth quarter of footy.
They have played in a sequence of thrillers, the Pies, so they're well versed, but are they good enough to get over the champs? The opening bounce of the final term for Tyre Power. 3 votes during the stock take sale. Nightfall at the MCG. A thriller on the Queen's birthday. Cameron's after it in the middle. Jackson laid the tackle, and between the ruckman, they'll force a secondary ball up. Melbourne by 2 points. Heaving crowd in. Cameron clears the way. Took the footy. Hand passed it forward to Crisp. Puts Collingwood to full forward. Elliott's got the drop. Hibberd closes. Hibberd got hands to it. Knocked it to Brayshaw. Elliott lays the tackle. Brayshaw hand passed it over the boundary and wins the footy. Jamie Elliott. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. It's as difficult a shot as you can take.
Particularly when you're not allowed to have a run-up.
He's in the gutter, and he'll kick from the juncture of 50 and the boundary. Elliott on a wing and a prayer sends it goalward. It will not score. It is out of bounds on the full, and it stays a 2-point Melbourne lead.
Little hush falls over the MCG. Ball in the back pocket to Bowie, and he runs. No one was on the mark for Collingwood, so he heads out wide to Max Gawn. And Quaynor took the mark. It floated past both rucks. So Quaynor about to send Collingwood inside 50. Now does he bang it long? He's got Mason Cox as the target. Mason's down there. Mychek's down there. Levers, big fist, knocks it toward the boundary. And Melbourne content to see it out. So Petty is back on the bench for Melbourne. Turner is out of the game, subbed out. But so Petty has a 20-minute concussion protocol to wait out, which will allow him back on at what, the 15-odd minute mark of this quarter?
I reckon the 20 includes the break.
Okay, so maybe he'll be allowed on in a couple of minutes. Ball back into play. Mason Cox knocks it down. De Goey gets on the end of it. Got a handball up. Comes to Crisp. Got it to Ginnivan. Of all players to give Collingwood the lead. Could it be Ginnivan? High. Mason Cox flies. Goal square. Hibberd got there. Got on the end of it. Rolled it. Oliver put his head down. He buried his head into side bottom. The umpire said no free. Oh, ball it up. Oliver claimed it should have been a head high free to him. And side bottom's got a case for a ducking of the head free. Ball up, forward pocket for Collingwood.
Everything's going to be so scrutinised from here. Hibberd to Lever to Oliver to Bowie to get it out of the back pocket. It is just a high and hoping ball though. Smashed away. Maynard's onto it at the back. He's got a mind to put it to full forward. Cox and Myercheck comes at the pack. Underneath to Goey trying to bulldoze his way through. Lever held him up. Ball it up.
Max Gawn's barely able to get into a jog, but he's just going to play deep forward and probably give Jackson a spell when he can.
Jackson the tap to go. He threatened under the pack, lost it. Brayshaw ball in motion. Jackson with a hand pass to Vine. He just took a moment, composed himself, kicks the Gorn against Moore. They halved the contest. Maynard hacked it off the turf into Jordan. It hit his boot and went out on the full. You could barely credit that, and Harms is in strife. Crumpled on the turf. He's going to need to leave the field. Maynard's ball left half forward for Collingwood. It is a crowded 50. Maynard goes there anyway. Cox set himself. Ball loose underneath. Brayshaw has it. Hand pass to Oliver. Gave it to Jordan. Hack and hope again. Gorn stood his ground. Terrific grab.
Big Maxie standing up when it counts most. To Petrarca, to Jordan. He gets Melbourne to the wing. Spargo's got it. He thinks about going quickly and then thinks better of it. He waits. Doesn't want to waste it. If you just tuned into AFL Nation, Melbourne lead by 2 points, 48-46. That's on the Farmers Business Network scoreboard. Farm Supplies Online. Short pass to Oliver, 60 out. And he hammers it goal square. Max gets back in the hole. Can't mark it. Fritsch, amazing crumb. Gave to Neil Bullen. Spins the ball in his hand to collect it properly. Across the face of goal. Langdon, boundary line, ball in. Melbourne forward pocket. So the Makita, all the outdoors with Makita clock. 4.5 minutes gone. Final term, Melbourne by 2 points.
Oh, you've got to be tough for Hardyacker legendary gear. Harms has doubled up on the bench below us. The casualties mount for Melbourne. They're hanging on to a lead. At the throw in, Gorn tried to clear the way, gathered the footy, ran into Quaynor. That's holding the ball. Quaynor stuck the tackle for Toro, count on it. It was the right play from Max because if he gets through, he can take the flying shot. It's worth the risk. Quaynor held up to the pressure. He lopes away and delivers beyond the defensive 50. Hoskin Elliott flew, dropped the mark and hand passed in a hurry. Lost the footy and over the boundary for a throw-in. It's only 5 minutes into the final term. This is going to ratchet up in terms of tension. You can feel it has a grip around the ground already. Jackson in front, taps it down. Taken by Adams, though. The Pies get it beyond halfway. Lever flew, dropped the mark. Salem underneath. Shot the hand pass up to Mitch Brown, who's in defence. He missed the hand pass to Bowie, who's hot. Josh Dacos is after him, so too Elliott. He did well. Hand pass to Mitch Brown, who went backwards again. Hibbert won't have thanked him. He kicked it up and down the mine shaft. Arriving was Viney, but Hoskin Elliott plays Crummer to Pendlebury, to Adams. Looked inside and found Myercheck. With the adrenaline pumping, Adams had the wherewithal to take a breath and see what was there. And Brodie Myercheck was unattended.
In a game where it's hot and a lot of players are just throwing the ball on their boot, it's great composure from Adams. Just to spot up Myercheck inside 50 because there were only smalls as targets ahead of the game for Collingwood.
They led for the first 10 minutes of the game, Collingwood, with 2 behinds and have chased doggedly ever since. Brodie Myercheck to give the Maggies the lead. From 50 metres out, he gives it all he's got. It's there! Oh, how they have worked for this, Collingwood. They're pegged back a 20-point deficit from the middle stages of that third term. And they are front runners. 7 minutes into the last. 7:10:52 to Melbourne 7:6:48. Myercheck kicks his third. It's a Bendix breaks, big moment. Confidence stopping, Bendix breaks.
Certainly is. Myercheck's numbers don't look outstanding, but he has played an outstanding game, both by being a focal point and just giving Collingwood someone to kick to, someone to target. He just wills himself. He just refuses to be out of the contest. He refuses to be out of the game and go back from 52 and go bang. What a finish.
So now Collingwood lead by 4. Cameron Jackson in the middle for the ruck work. Oliver, clean possession to Petrarca, but he kicks it wide. Didn't have a lot forward. He knew that. Short pass to Spargo from Jordan. Missed the target, but Sparrow pounces, runs to 60. Barks some instructions. Heads to the goal square. Moore got up, couldn't mark it. Harms there for the crumb. Moore got there first. Benny Brown cut it off. Ball in. Forward pocket from Melbourne. So 8 minutes gone. Final term on the Makita or the Outdoors with Makita clock and the FBN scoreboard. FBN, Farmers Business Network, shop crop protection and nutrition products online. Ball back into play. Scrambled toward McCreary at half-back. Gave it to Lipinski. He rolled outside defensive 50. Big ball to win. Henry couldn't win it. Mychek does. He knew he was going to be swallowed, but he took the heat, took the Sharon, and will get a ball up just outside Melbourne's attacking 50 with Collingwood leading by 4 points.
They've kicked the last 4 goals of the game, the Pies. Jackson wins the tap. Onto the footy, though. Hoskin Elliott squeezed the kick down the wing. It was touched on the way through. Mychek will get there. Feeds the hand pass to McCreary. Open space to dash into. He steadies at 52. He's gone for Elliott. Got it in the square. At full pelt, running to the goal line. It came over his shoulder and he clung on for dear life. He's going to kick his second. And there's just a feeling about Collingwood.
There is.
You can see it. You can hear it. It's rising up into your bones here at the MCG. Point blank range. Elliott puts the Pies 10 points in front. Catch us if you can. 8:10:58 to Melbourne 7:6:48. 10 gone to the final term. Crucial moments for New Farm Australian through and through, Josh.
And the crucial moment you speak of was won by that man, Brody Mychek, on centre wing. Aerial contest, ball in dispute. He wins a 1v1, arguably a 1v2, gives off the handball, and they're away. It was a smart kick inside 50 by McCreary. Just smart to lay it up over the top, almost quarterback to wide receiver, laid it out in front of Jamie Elliott, who took a good mark. It wasn't an easy mark by any stretch of the imagination. He did mark that just outside the goal square, so I was done him a little favour there. It wouldn't probably have mattered.
Yeah, could almost have let it go, but he didn't know exactly where he was. From the ball up, Oliver gets the clearance, but it's a wobbler. Almost harms. He couldn't mark it. Noble comes up with it. Hands to Nick Dacos. Quick hands back to Noble. Faster than the eye could see that handball succession. Hoskin Elliott gets on the end of that pass. Short to Ginnivan, who's just backward of the southern stand. Shane Warne stand wing. 11 minutes gone on the Makita or the Outdoors clock final term. 58-48. Collingwood's biggest lead of the game right now. 10 points. Big Max Gawn got there for the contest, couldn't mark it. Cameron got it, gave it to Mychek, gave it to Cox, gave it to Lipinski, gave it to Cox, hammers it inside 50, it's high. It's out on the full. Free kick, Hibbert, Melbourne, back pocket, and we've kicked into the 12th minute of the final term.
They've got 13 minutes, Melbourne, to show all of their champion qualities with injuries on the bench and hobbled on the fields. Trying to come from behind and avoid 3 straight losses. Long kick in the Ben Brown direction. Petrarca plays Crummer. Sweeping hand pass to Harms, who put it forward to the play to Sparrow. Needs something else now. He went himself. Ran past Maynard. Gave it to Harms, who fumbled and lost the footy. Back onto it he goes, but he's drawn a crowd. Maynard with a hand pass, not entirely to task. And then Ben Brown ripped Nick Dacos' head off. And there's no dispute over that free kick. It's Melbourne's turn to be desperate. And Collingwood with a chance to exercise a bit of composure. Nick Dacos spied the kick to the wing where Hoskin Elliott had found a couple of metres space. Noble rushed ahead of the mark. Hoskin Elliott's not prepared to do it. He's going to kick longer instead to the contest at half forward. Mychek will mark. Every eye would be so admiring of his effort. And now to full forward. Cameron's going to have to fly. Lever offhand. Spargo underneath. Hand passed out the back to Bowie. Now to Jordan as they closed on him. He got the kick away. Salem had to stand against the pressure, and he did. Release it to Fritsch, who kicks now to the sub, Chandler.
So Chandler's on a half-back flank. No one stands the mark, so he can go if he wants to, but he doesn't like what he's got ahead of him, so he doesn't go. He shoots it to Oliver, not a bad out. Give it to Oliver if you're in doubt. And Oliver runs on and shoots it to Spargo, who's on the wing. Still a ton of time left for Melbourne. They're 2 goals down. Spargo runs, handballs it inboard, gets it to Jordan. He blasts it. This is Jackson's ball. He goes up, 1 grab, 2 grabs. He's got it. He held it as he was going to ground, and this is Luke Jackson's moment of the game now. He's 35 out, but on a 45-degree angle. He had Jeremy Howe jumping against him. He got 1 paw on it first and then gathered it as he was falling on his back.
Got a shot from this same spot earlier in the game, second quarter, which he missed to the near side.
One of the biggest young stars of the competition in front of 80,000 here at the MCG, and he is equal to the moment. There's a kick in it. The Farmers Business Network scoreboard, Farm Supplies online. 14 minutes gone, final term on the Makita Woolsey Outdoors with Makita clock. Melbourne 8-6, Collingwood 8-10. Here's Josh Jenkins for Shaw. Unify your team.
Just an experienced team, just able to work their way through. They know they can't bomb away. They're not getting anything when they bomb the ball inside 50. Darcy Moore and Mason Cox have been cleaning everything up. So they just slowly and methodically work their way down the members' side wing. And again, it's Jeremy Howe, the way that the Collingwood defenders like to play, standing in front, 190 centimetres of Jeremy Howe against 199 centimetres of Luke Jackson. He was able to jump up, take a mark, finish, importantly. Just keep Melbourne in this.
Collingwood by 4 points, just shy of the halfway mark of this final term. Cox up early, tapped it down to Sparrow though, released it to Viney and then to Oliver, forward of the play to Sparrow and on to Gawn. He's overwhelmed by the pressure though, lost it to Adams. Nick Dacos barrelled by Sparrow, ball buried underneath them. Umpire in to ball it up. Nothing will come easily now. Tossed up, Gawn knocked it down. Off the ground goes Cox though. Took a little bit of territory. Salem read it well on the wing to win it back for Melbourne. To Langdon, to Petty who's back into the fray. And Langdon again guides the kick into the safe clutches of Viney. Not 15, had to brush his way around side bottom and then squirt the kick forward, cut off by Crisp. So the chaotic play doesn't serve Melbourne on that occasion. Up to Lipinski, who is pretty eager to move it, and why wouldn't you be? Side bottom is loose on the worn wing. And up ahead to Pendlebury. Hand passes to Noble, who knows no other way. Full throttle kick was charged down though. Jordan out to meet it. Hand pass to Petty, who made the smother. Worked it on to Langdon and out now to Neil Bullen. He links it up to Sparrow. Not a great hand pass to Oliver, but he got hit ferociously by Adams after he got rid of advantage pay.
So Pickett plays onto advantage. Short to Fritsch. He's in the centre circle. He runs. He spears. Benny Brown's his target. Howe got there. He killed it with a fist. Collingwood fans rise. He knocked it to Crisp. It wasn't just a spoil. It was a spoil to advantage. He goes to Lipinski. He in turn short to Elliott. Had to fly. Gather. Spin. Kick. Petty stands in the hole. He's beaten the concussion test. And he turns and kicks to Gawn. Big Maxi Gawn, who can't run at the moment for Melbourne's got it between fullback and centre halfback, and he wastes a little bit of time waiting and finds Jordan wide. 58 plays 54. Melbourne trail by 4 points, but they've got possession 17 minutes into the last quarter.
Long down the line, Ben Brown. Howe slipped over. Spargo got hold of the footy. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Loose to the wing. Side bottom cuts it off. The veteran's going to bring it inboard. He'll find McCreary in the bullseye. Just holds up for a moment. Every urging to get things moving. Kicks inside the 50. Cox flew, didn't mark. Gathered the footy. Hand passed it away to Lipinski. Showed him the footy. Hand pass to Chris. Mown down by Brayshaw. Umpire for a bounce. Chris knew that he was hot. He got down low. He might have worn a little bit high. It looked like a 50-50 contest. I'm with the ump there. Ball it up. McCreary through the pack, tries. It spills to Lipinski. Tumbles into the goal front. Hibbert backed himself. He left Henry. He gathered. He's hemmed in. Hand passes across the face of goal. Jordan on the way out. Sparrow flew. He dropped the mark. Back to Jordan. He'll have a chance to clear the 50 now. It's a long kick. Fritsch against a couple. Meso's there to do the roving.
That was an amazing bit of roving by Meso. He knew flying was a waste of time. He knew it was dropping to the back, and he waited for it, and he got it. And he gave it to Pendlebury. He shoots it to Hoskin Elliott. 60 out. Can he find a target? Henry! He's good, this kid. He probably doesn't get it enough, but when he gets it, it seems to be a big moment every time he gets it. And he'll line up a goal from 40 out. Directly out. He tucks the ball under his arm. Collingwood lead by 4. We're about to tick into time on final term. This kick to give them a 2-goal advantage in essence, heading in to time on, and he drills it. And this is the kind of game that if it finishes all square, you'd want extra time. 80,000 in the house loving every second of this. 64 plays 54. Here's Josh Jenkins on AFL Nation, Collingwood leading.
The beauty of being a forward is it doesn't have to be your day, but you can still make it your moment and still have a big impact in the game. That's only Ollie Henry's 5th disposal for the day, but he goes back and he kicks truly. He's kicked some big goals already in his young career. None more so than that. It was a nice finish, and Collingwood, Melbourne just can't get the ball across halfway. They cannot get the ball inside their half of the ground. They can't play the game the way they want it to be played. This is all Collingwood at the moment, but don't count out the champs.
They've kicked 6 of the last 7, Collingwood. They have the Demons on the ropes. Cox wins the tap in the middle. Petrarca hunts the footy. He'll send Melbourne forward. Neil Bullen let it land, and it bounced elusively. Pickett down. Murphy took him off it. Ball is loose. Or no, it's actually tied up entirely. And 6 players around it, 55 metres from the Melbourne goal. Ball it up. Cox hammers it forward. Good play. Elliott tried to knock it over his shoulder to take the territory. Bowie was having none of it. Hand pass just eluded Lever. He went and got it. Hand passes it away. Harms careful to the wing. Jordan ended up with it where he really shouldn't have. Strides through. Opens play up to Sparrow. He's desperate to go. He false starts, and now he lays it off to Harms. 60 from goal. Viney rushes by. Cuts the 50. Kicks for goal. No! Got it right to the line. And they converged. Maynard with the telling fist. A yard short. They're down by 9 the D's on the Farmers Business Network scoreboard. Farm Supplies Online.
Makita all the outdoors clock, 6 minutes left. Collingwood, quick kick inside, bottom then to Noble. Up against the boundary, back pocket. He runs outside defensive 50 now as he kicks toward the wing. Lipinski's down there. Mychek's down there. Salem crumbs it, gave it to Hibbert. Wobbles Melbourne back to half forward, but Pendlebury read it to perfection. He still bites off the inside kick to Mason Cox. So there might be 2 kicks up, Collingwood. They're still taking it on. They want to score another one and put this game beyond doubt. Mason Cox, dangerous little kick to Elliott. He had to make it look good, and he did make it look okay. To Josh Dacos, sends it long inside 50. Henry got there, knocked it down to the front. Big moment for Lipinski. He kicks this. They're just about home. Goal line, Mychek bucked it anyway. And Collingwood fans are going crazy. He kicks this from 2 metres out, and Melbourne will need 3 goals in 4 minutes to steal this one back. Huge game this in the context of the season. Collingwood win this game. They're inside the top 8. Mychek runs in, goal. He's got 4. And this, one of the best wins, if Collingwood can get there, that I've seen for quite a while. 10-10-70 to 8-7-55. Yeah, it's against Melbourne on the ropes, but it's still against the reigning champs. at the home of footy.
Been an absolute cracker. What a treat this has been for the 76,059 in the house. Brody Myercheck becoming the most influential player on the ground. 15 disposals, 10 big marks. 5 of those have been contested. 6 have been inside Collingwood's forward 50, an area of the ground where they rely so heavily on his marking prowess. He's kicked 4 straight.
The champs are punch drunk. 7 of the last 8 Collingwood have kicked. 15-point leaders. High bounce in the middle. Cox swats it down, socketed it off the turf. Crisp tried to knock it on. Petrarca cut it off to Oliver to Viney. Threw it onto the boot. It wobbles to half forward. Noble attacked it hard. Gathered and kicked over the top of Josh Dacos. Elliott will arrive and use him. Hand pass finds Dacos. He goes backwards. Elliott to Noble. Fakes the kick. Steps around. Delivers up the line. Knocked away from Crisp. Hibbert, desperate at the back, is onto it. He's going the wrong way. Pulls up. Hand pass to Lever. Caresses the kick to half-back. Pendlebury arrives, make the spoil. Cox sidesteps, out of trouble if you don't mind. Kicks to full forward. Myercheck with the flight. It would have been anything if he had. Free kick. It's going against Ginnivan, who shepherded as they were forming up.
So Melbourne bring it away. Brayshaw. Time is of the essence now. They need 3 goals in 3 minutes. Down the spine to Oliver. Got it at centre half-back. Nothing forward that he liked. Gave it to Brayshaw. Out wide towards Jordan. He's got Spargo out wider, but he wants to go corridor. Heads inside. Nicely delivered to Viney. 80 from goal. Inside the centre square. Heads on to Benny Brown. Got it. Not quite over yet. Benny plays on. Benny plays on and missed it. It's over now. He takes his time there and kicks that. They needed 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. But he wasted a huge chance to stay alive. Short pass to Jeremy Howe in the back pocket.
He didn't need to, Dwayne. He didn't need to. I know his run-up takes a long time, but he didn't need to.
No, he didn't have the clock awareness. Mason Cox has got it half-back flag, but Collingwood fans can sense it now. The scoreboard shows 26 gone. The fans know what a day for Mason Cox. One of their all-time great heroes now. Stuff of folklore now, Mason Cox. Ball falls to Bowie. Here's Mason again. Gets up there. Gawn thumps it down to Noble. He moonwalks backwards. Handballs it to Howe. They're having fun now, Collingwood. To Pendlebury, who dance steps. Fake. He sold him not just candy. He sold him the whole candy shop. Goes up towards Myercheck. He's got it to McCreary. Inside to Josh Dacos. He's got Crisp for the finishing blow. It's over. The game's over and Melbourne's dominance is over. This premiership's up for grabs. Collingwood 11-10-76. Melbourne 8-8-56 with 1 minute and 48 seconds left on the Makita or the outdoors clock.
Leg in the air here. They're doing this with a leg in the air. They are running away from the D's, and we understand they're a little bit undermanned, Melbourne, and they've got some guys who are feeling the effects. Max Gawn, no one more so than Max Gawn, but this has been all Collingwood. All Collingwood in this final term. Their willingness to be brave and bold and play with speed, it's been incredible to watch, Wayne.
Well, this will be 3 losses in a row for Melbourne. Bounce in the middle. Up flies Cameron, knocked it down. There's a free kick. In fact, it's a record bounce. So, less seconds now. Farmers Business Network scoreboard. Farm Supplies online. 76-56. Collingwood by 20 points with 90 seconds left. Viney squeezes it to half forward with the kick. Off hands from the scramble. Kicked out of the air. Brayshaw will get it. But he's at half-back flank as he gets it. He looks up. He wants to go towards Maxi Gawn. He's got the reach on Noble. Big fist of Cameron got there late. Knocked it down to Hoskin Elliott. Caught, shrugged, dropped it. Nick Dacos, who's had a day to behold. This kid is a star. If he's not the rising star, you want to be damn good to beat him this year. Got it to Josh Dacos. Kicks around his body. Elliott's a chance to mark it. He fumbled it towards the boundary, but that'll do. Viney takes it across, and we've got a minute left.
Yeah. what a win. What a performance. Came here today thinking they could definitely take it up to Melbourne. And you know what? This is probably going to be more about Melbourne in the aftermath than about Collingwood. But it should be as much about Collingwood because they are a good side.
Listen to this. Ball back into play. Collingwood fans are rejoicing. Seconds away from the siren. Josh Jacobs has got it. Heads toward Elliott. Goal square, goal!
They want more.
Stop the fight. They are punch-drunk, Melbourne. And Collingwood has landed blow after blow after blow since half-time. 12 goals, 10.82 to 8.56.
It's been a thumping. It's been a thumping in this final term. It's been all one-way traffic. And I guess only in the wash-up will we know how sore and how sorry Melbourne are for themselves. Max Gawn, he can barely run. He probably shouldn't be out on the field. But when you are out there, you're fair game. And Cameron Cox ruck tandem. Got a very valuable ruckman in the stands. This Cameron and Cox tandem, it looks pretty good.
Mason Cox, he's not on the ground, but he's on the boundary at the moment getting a standing ovation. Ball up in the middle. A little roller by Melbourne to half forward. Noble cuts it off. Gathered by Sparrow. And we'll get a ball up. Half forward flank for Melbourne. We're down to 25 seconds. Ball swiped to De Goey. The lift door's closed on him. He couldn't get away with it. Back in the congestion. And we'll get another ball up. And we're down to 15 seconds. Ball flung in the air. The two ruckmen dance, tie up. Oliver gets one last possession, and it's a kick inside 50 that Maynard, who started all this with his tackle on Cozzy Pickett. We felt the jolt through the grandstands. It was that good a tackle. He gave it to Quaynor. Seconds ticking down. You're going to hear some sort of crazy roar shortly from the Collingwood fans. 80,000 of them in the house. And they've blown the reigning champs away. 12-10-82 to 8-8-56. Collingwood in the 8. And have we got a new premiership contender?
Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
12-10-82 Collingwood, Melbourne 8-8-56. Josh Jenkins to tell you all about it as we wrap this one up on AFL Nation. Massive crowd at the MCG. I said 80,000. It was actually, what, 76,000?
76,059. 76,059. Tell you what, yeah, the fourth quarter, felt like 96 Collingwood faithful up and about.
Just a joy to watch as well. The whole afternoon you thought they were a contender to beat Melbourne, but they were inaccurate early, wasted a few opportunities, but Josh will tell you more about it. Great to have your company on AFL Nation. Stick around because we'll be heading down to the Collingwood room shortly. Your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, 0 goals, 5 in the first quarter, 6 goals straight in the final term. That's the difference. And a lot of those goals were from the goal square. They were creating better opportunities for themselves early in the game. They're having shots from out wide. They're having shots from all over the place. In the fourth term, they're having shots. Elliott from the goal square. Myercheck a couple from the goal square. And what a performance that was from the Pies. Who saw that coming at halftime? They were in the game. They were looking good. They were looking dangerous. They were creating opportunities through the middle of the ground. But who in their right mind saw 6 goals to 1 coming in that final term against the reigning premiers? Who, hey, that's 3 in a row now. 3 in a row. They've got some work to do, not some soul searching to do, but they're going to have to answer the questions. A tumultuous week. Well, are you together? Are you all together? Because when the chips were down, when it was close at 3/4 time, only a couple of points in it, Collingwood went to another level. They banded together and Melbourne didn't. Melbourne were unable to band together. So questions will be asked, but hopefully a lot of the focus is on how exciting this emerging Collingwood side is. Get to 8-5 and give themselves a life chance of making the top 8 from here.
So the goal scorers, Myercheck 4 straight, Jamie Elliott 3-1, Ben Brown kicked 2, Mason Cox kicked 1, but what a one it was. Jack Crisp 1, Bailey Fritsch, Jack Ginnivan also 1 each, Ollie Henry kicked 1, Luke Jackson, James Jordan, Bo McCreary, Clayton Oliver also 1, Cozzy Pickett and Jack Viney 1. So Brodie Myercheck, the majority when it came to the goal kickers, 4 straight, 12-10-82 to 8-8-56, 3 losses in a row for Melbourne, and Collingwood inside the top 8 tonight. They've knocked Richmond out of the top 8, but of course Richmond will play Thursday night against Carlton and try and grab that spot back again during these bye rounds.
Clayton Oliver gets the Neil Danaher trophy. 43 disposals, hard to knock him, even though it was a loss in the end. 27 in the first half, pretty impressive. Never had 27 in a game my whole career. He's had 27 and a half, if you don't mind.
Yeah, 43 possessions. Interesting to see. Would you give him 3 Brownlow votes? It's been Collingwood's performance today. It's hard to, you can't give Mason Cox best on ground, yet for sheer impact per possession, he's got to be up there in terms of what he did in that third quarter, because he took defensive mark after defensive mark when Melbourne threatened to kick away.
He's reborn as a ruckman, and that sounds foolish to say, but he looks like he understands the game more as a ruckman. He understands where to run. It looks more natural from an aerial point of view when he gets back behind the ball and taking intercept marks, more so unopposed or jumping into packs rather than having a defender hanging off his back and trying to, be big and strong and push guys off and then take a mark. And
Melbourne have dropped from top spot, so the size of the victory has dropped Melbourne to second on the ladder. The Brisbane Lions are now top.
It wasn't long ago we were saying Melbourne on the field and people were taking Melbourne. Well, that's not the case anymore. Not even on top.
Wow. So Brisbane Lions are top of the AFL ladder. Melbourne have dropped to second. 12-10-82 to 8-8-56. If you just jump in the car, Melbourne's third loss in a row, and Collingwood are inside the top 8. Our post-game partner is VRGF Gamblers Help. Call someone who gets it. Call Gamblers Help.
Oh, I'm blown away by this. Blown away. I've had high hopes for Collingwood throughout the season. I made at the time, it was seen as a silly call that they could make the top 6, Dwayne.
Yeah, wow.
Looking okay now at 8-5. And I just love the way they play the game. I love the way they go about it. There's some Richmond about them with Craig McRae and Justin Lepich involved in the coach's box, but I love the way that they can kick the footy. They're a really good short kicking side. They're fast. They've got guys like Noble, Dacos ×2, Pendlebury still an elite ball user, Crisp is a ball user, and a lot of those guys run at their goal. They don't look to kick it sideways or run sideways or chip sideways or kick it backwards and rack up uncontested marks. When Noble gets it, he runs straight towards his goal. He runs flat out. He's a good short kick, and they've got a handful of guys who play in that same vein. They're hard to contain. They're dangerous. If you can turn the balls over against them, then they're vulnerable, and Moore and Howe are vulnerable. And we saw them on occasion get beaten, but for the most part, when they can win the ball in their half of the ground, they are super dangerous, and we saw that time and time again in that final term.
So let's knock one of our post-game criteria off from the list. Power player rankings for Red Energy, owned by Snowy Hydro, a renewable energy leader. I want the Josh Jenkins rankings. I don't want you to read from the book. Let me ask you. Clayton Oliver, 43 possessions. Nick Dacos, 33. Another game to behold. This kid's good. Really, really good. Jack Viney, 33 possessions. Christian Pataka, 32. Angus Brayshaw, 29. Jack Crisp, 29. James Jordan, 29. Played a great game as well. Braden Maynard did some great stuff with his tackle pressure, especially. He had 25. Christian Salem, 25. Jordan DeGoey, 22 possessions. Hibbert, 22. Neil Bullen, 22. And Mason Cox and Scott Pendlebury, 21 each. I go down to Scott Pendlebury and Mason Cox's 21 because their 21s were of vital importance.
Yeah, some people's 21 are worth more than another person's 31, and that was the case for Cox, who I would imagine, have to have a look at, I would imagine that would be a career high for Mason Cox, and just continued to get better and better as the game went along. So, I like a lot of those. I like some stats helped player power rankings, not necessarily purely numbers.
Jimmy, I know you're 3, 2 and 1, still yet to come, but...
Well, in no particular order in terms of the player power rankings. We'll throw Cox in there, we'll throw Adams in there, we'll throw Crisp in there, we'll throw Petrarca and Oliver in there. Both Dacos boys can go in and Viney can go in. So that's not necessarily in any order. You've got to stay tuned for the votes.
So the votes a little bit later on for AFL Nation's Player of the Year for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances. Players about to head down to the race. We'll bring you the song. We'll bring you a bit of the post-game love from the Collingwood rooms as well. And I've already given you a couple of the categories. Our tackle of the game for Toro. Count on Toro to get the job done. I'll give that to Braden Maynard, if you don't mind.
Thank you. I was going to intervene if you were going anywhere else. Yeah. That was a bone cruncher. Could feel that from up here. It set the tone for the day too. Saw countless hard tackles, but none harder than that one.
And before Collingwood players go down, the injury report for Victor Sports. Sign up your club, victorsports.com.au. Well, Max Gawn's injury is going to be the big one. So how bad that, well, we think it's a foot is going to be critical in the coming weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be plenty of cameras and journalists camped outside the scanning centre tomorrow morning, because that will be crucial. The results of that scan will be absolutely crucial to see whether Max Gawn can, or he's going to miss any time at all, or maybe even considerable time, because he certainly looked hampered in the fourth term. He could barely run, and to be fair, if they weren't 1 or 2 down, he probably wouldn't have been out there.
Daniel Turner as well, the debutant, concussed in his first game of AFL footy. He was subbed out. Harrison Petty underwent a concussion test, but he was deemed fine to return after the 20-minute concussion protocol. So they are the majority of the injuries for Victor Sports. Sign up your club, victorsports.com.au. As the players head down, who's your toughest player for Hardjacker? Legendary gear, Hardjacker for a new breed of legends. Pretty big list to pick from.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those games, but I gave it to Brody Mychek. The way he attacks the ball in the air, just without fear or failure, he is just a warrior for Collingwood. And if they didn't have him, they got him for nothing. If they didn't have him, they would be in a world of hurt. So he was just, the way he threw himself at the footy in the air today, absolutely amazing.
So let's hear the Collingwood song. Collingwood 12-10-82, Melbourne 8-8-56. Collingwood into the top 8 with that win. That's all again. If you've just tuned into AFL Nation, our post-game partner, VRGF Gamblers Help. Call someone who gets it. Call Gamblers Help. Collingwood 12-10-82, Melbourne 8-8-56. Collingwood inside the top 8 now. After that victory, Melbourne have been knocked from the top spot on the AFL ladder with their percentage loss today. The Brisbane Lions have grabbed top spot. Josh Jenkins is with us. Continue on, Josh.
Yeah, well, we did come here expecting a really exciting game, and we certainly got that and more. It wasn't necessarily approved, Dwayne, and probably puts me back in my box. It doesn't necessarily need to be high scoring to be exciting and to be a game that the fans can pack in and enjoy. And this proved to be one of those. It was high intensity, high pressure, lots of rush kicks and crucial contests, and In the end, Collingwood were able to win far more of those, particularly in that final term. So they will be very happy with themselves. They've been building. They've had some honourable losses up at Brisbane. They lost to the Lions up at the Gabba in a good performance, but ultimately didn't win. How they lost to West Coast at Marvel Stadium earlier in the year, I will never know. I will never, ever know, considering what they put forth today. But if this is the benchmark, or if this is as good as they can get, it's pretty exciting for Pies fans. All the Pies fans on the train or driving home listening to us right now, you should be very excited about your team for this year, but also for next year and the year after, because you've got, Henry and Ginnivan and young guys, the Dacos boys, who they're only going to get better. So exciting things lay ahead for the Pies.
That latter update as well for Signet. Power your life with a Signet Power Bank. And the ladder is starting to show how open this season is. So Brisbane top, 40 points. Melbourne second, 40 points. Fremantle third, 40 points. So we've got three equal leaders at the moment. Brisbane's percentage of 134.2 has them above Melbourne's percentage, which is 134 exact. Fremantle's percentage, 128.5. Carlton's fourth, so they're in inside the top four. 4 points away, or one win away from that top three. They're on 36 points. Geelong, 32 points. This during the bye rounds, of course. So a couple of teams were still a game to come. Carlton included, Geelong included. So Brisbane, Melbourne and Fremantle, the top three, have all played 13 games. Then Carlton, who've played 12. Geelong, who've played 12. St Kilda, who've played 12 on 32 points. Sydney, who've played 12 on 32 points. And Collingwood, who've played 13 now into the 8 with 32 points. Richmond have been bumped out. But again, Richmond play on Thursday night against Carlton. And if they win that game, they'll be back inside the top 8 because they have a superior percentage to Collingwood, and they would join them on the same amount of points. But outside the 8, Richmond, the Dogs can still make it. The Gold Coast can still make it. Port Adelaide still have a game in hand. They would believe they could still make it. And the Giants, off the back of yesterday's win, would still be of the belief they can still make it if they get a run going. Their next game is against the Western Bulldogs. Post-game partner, VRGF Gamblers Help. Call someone who gets it. Call Gamblers Help. Have you got a crucial moment for New Farm? Australian through and through for New Farm, a crucial moment of the game?
I have got a crucial moment. If I can just read my piece of paper here properly. Where's the crucial moment? Where have I got it? Where have I got the crucial moment? I don't even reckon I've got it on my piece of paper.
What about your MEGT Rookie of the Day? Your local apprenticeship experts,
good. Thanks
MEGT,
for coming to my rest. There's the crucial moment. I'll get back to that.
Employers and apprentices for over 40 years, MEGT.
Thanks, Dwayne. I just thought I was a bit too young for glasses, but evidently not. Dacos, the young man, he's emerging. We knew he was good. You don't get drafted that high without being a really, really good player, but just his composure with ball in hand. He never blasts it. He never bombs away. He never wastes a disposal. 33 disposals this afternoon. He used so many of them really well. Rebounded the ball outside of the D50 5 times and just set up so much and retained possession in a game which was really, really highly contested, high pressure, and a lot of turnovers. He was just able to use the ball beautifully. As I said, 33 disposals, that's 78% disposal efficiency.
About to head back to the Collingwood rooms and have a chat to one of the victorious Magpies. Your play of the day for Mildura Regional Development. Looking for an exciting weekend trip away? Visit mildura.com.au.
It had to be Big Mason. I loved his goal. Crisp. It was a nice build-up. Mason was doing some good things in the air, but he did some good things on the ground as well. Jack Crisp released the handball just before he was tackled, and Mason Cox, to the absolute roars of the Collingwood faithful, kicked a beautiful goal on the run. That was certainly at a crucial time in the game, and it was a crucial goal for Big Mason Cox.
And what is your goal of the game if that was the crucial moment for Host Plus and Industry Super Fund for all Australians? Your goal of the game?
I stuck with Clayton Oliver. It wasn't necessarily the greatest goal you'll ever see in terms of the snap on the right foot, but it was more about the gather and the class and the cleanliness with the ball. I don't think there's many players in the game who could make that gather, let alone finish that that snap for goal. So had to give it to Clayton Oliver, who just proved again he's just playing on another level.
And have you got an Amy Clanger for good? Who covers clangers? Amy does.
Well, it didn't cost them in the end, but the Petrarca fumble in the goal square, that was that had to be seen to be believed, particularly a player with the class and silk and composure of Christian Petrarca. His eyes lit up, as they do for all of us when we think we're going to get an easy goal, and went straight through the breadbasket, a la Jack Darling in the 2018 Grand Final. It was almost a carbon copy.
Most improved player for Valvoline, which oil keeps your business moving. You know, Valvoline.
Gave it to the big guy, Mason Cox. We've spoken a lot about him, but as the game went on, he was quietish in the first half. He didn't do a lot, but that third quarter, he just lit up, took 3 intercept marks, kicked that big goal. Had some nice work in the ruck as well. He looked energetic, he looked agile, he looked up for the fight against Max Gawn in the ruck, and then he continued on in the fourth quarter. Some nice spills created for his smalls in the forward half as well. So Big Mason got better and better as the game went on.
And we're about to head down to the Collingwood rooms, and we are going to say farewell soon after we have a chat to one of the victorious Magpie players. By the way, 12-10-82 Collingwood to Melbourne 8-8-56. Give me your 3, 2 and 1 while we've got you. 3, 2 and 1 for AFL Nations Player of the Year for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances.
1 vote to the young man who we've already spoken about and sung his praises, Nick Dacos, 33 disposals, 78% disposal efficiency, as mentioned. He just continues to get better and better. 2 votes, Clayton Oliver. You've got to give some love. 43 disposals and a goal. What a performance that was, particularly in a loss. But when you lose by that much, I can't give you the 3 votes. And I am prone to the big forward, Dwayne. 16 disposals, 10 marks, 5 contested marks, 6 marks inside 50. And in a game where the Pies kicked really inaccurately early, Brody Mychek's 4 goals straight was, in fact, the difference in the game. If they didn't have him, they would have lost by 25 points.
What chance the umpires give Mychek the 3 votes and not the guy that gets 43 possessions?
Squat diddly. Absolutely none. The ex-coach, Buckley's.
That is an example, though, where the key forward or the forward sort of gets robbed a bit, isn't it?
It is, because if they didn't have Brody Mychek, and to be honest, they actually need another one of him.
Yeah.
Probably to go to the next level, they need another, and that's a story for another day. But his importance, unbelievable.
Let's head downstairs. I think Jeremy Howe is with us. Jeremy, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. How do you feel?
Yeah, really good. We were up for the challenge today. We knew, Melbourne coming off a couple of poor performances on their standards, they're going to be up for it, and they were early. But to the boys' credit, we overran them in the game, which is really pleasing.
You're talking to Josh Jenkins.
Jeremy, well done. What a performance by your guys. It was tightly contested all day, and then in that final term, you guys were able to run away with it. What was the plan coming in? You've seen Sydney beat the D's with some slick ball use. You saw Fremantle suffocate them. What were the things you were really keen to focus on and highlight going into this game?
Yeah, we probably tried to set it up on, based on our pressure and the heat around the ball. We felt like, our pressure's been really good all year, and we thought that would trouble them. They probably wanted the game a little bit more calm and a bit slower, and, when the game's live and quick, that probably favours us and a bit more turnover-like. So we wanted to, probably in the first part of the game, we felt like we were playing really slow, playing into their hands. Oliver had a massive influence on that, given that we were just kicking long down the line. So we decided to shift it, get a bit braver with the ball, and it paid off.
Talk to us about your new ruck combination. Of course, without your superstar ruckman Brodie Grundy, but Mason Cox looks reborn as a ruckman, and Darcy Cameron's emerging as well as not necessarily a super young guy, but a guy who hasn't played a lot of footy. Those two guys are really working well for you, and if anything, despite the absence of Grundy, really giving you an advantage in the ruck.
Yeah, I think, we've given the Brodies out, you give those guys an opportunity and you start learning and finding out more about them. And Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox have been huge, and, they're sharing that ruck role, but you probably see like Coxie's influence around the ground. When he gets an opportunity to go in the ruck, which he probably doesn't as much when Brodie's playing, he makes the back's life a hell of a lot easier as well. He just gets in the right spot, competes in the air, and just has real influence. And Darcy Cameron's just been a revelation in the last probably 12 months. He just hasn't had the opportunities. His actual number one role is probably the ruck. But, we've put him down the forward line for long periods of time, but it's good to see him get an opportunity.
Conversation for another day when Big Brodie's back. You've got 3 rucks, whether you can fit them all in. Talk to me about the guys around you in that back half. They're really exciting. I love the way you guys are trying to play. I'm talking about, John Noble and Quaynor, and Crisp's a player we know well. Pendlebury gets back there, but you've got you're starting to get a group of 5 or 6 guys who really can all kick the footy really well. You and Darcy Moore kick the ball well as well. So you've got a lot of guys who can kick the ball well and really generate some nice offence from your back half.
Yeah, I guess we probably look a little bit undersized at times, but, with Murph coming in, myself and him play pretty similar. But like you said, those small mediums are providing plenty of bounce off the half back, which, the coach really likes. We're moving the ball a little bit quicker, a little bit more dare, but we're also being able to defend off the back of that. And like you said, the continuity between the back line, something that we've probably had for a little bit. But, it's just nice to see those blokes flourishing. And for a senior player like me, watching those guys do their things, pretty cool.
How is it for you? Of course, Jordan Ruffhead recently retired, so a lot of the load falls on your shoulders to play on the bigger forwards and give away sort of 2, 3, 4 inches at different stages. So something you're just willing to do for the team, or would you prefer to play on some guys who are about 6'3" instead of 6'7"?
Yeah, look, it's not something that I haven't done before, but yeah, ideally you probably have like 2 keys, but I think the amount of heat that we're putting on at the moment, teams aren't really getting laced out entries, which certainly helps us behind the ball, and that probably allows us to bounce a little bit more, given they're a little bit smaller. So I'm just happy down there, mate. Really enjoying my footy, as are a lot of the boys, and I think we're seeing that.
And Brody Mychek just couldn't have sung his praises anymore. His willingness to just get inside, get involved in the game, and jump into contests that most forwards probably wouldn't even bother with. Just talk to us about his impact on a forward half that really needs a big body like his.
Yeah, again, like we probably, he's not really a key forward size, but geez, he provides plenty of carnage down the forward line. If there's a contest coming and he's within the area, it's almost batting down the hatches. But he's been doing that for a long period of time. He works so hard throughout the week on his aerial and on his running patterns, and we're getting the fruits of that. It's really good to see. He's having a really strong, consistent year. He's carrying a fair bit of the load down in that forward line, and him and Jamie Elliott really lead the troops down there, which is great.
Congratulations again, Jeremy. I know you've got to go. We appreciate your time. Well done.
Cheers, boys. What's up?
Jeremy Howard joining us. Collingwood 12-10-82. Melbourne 8-8-56. Back to wrap up on AFL Nation.